Derek Chauvin pressed his knee into Floyd's neck for over 8 minutes, while the man was unarmed and handcuffed, and his onlookers pleaded with Chauvin to stop. An estimated 1,500 people in Berlin marched Sunday, a day after more than 2,000 people gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, where they chanted Black Lives Matter and held pictures of Floyd. In England, officials Friday denounced the arrest of CNN correspondent Omar Jimenez and his camera crew as they reported on the protests in Minneapolis. Michelle Bachelet, the High Commissioner for Human Rights at the United Nations, called on the United States to take serious action to end police killings of civilians, which happened nearly 1,100 times in 2019. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
From the creation of the Bible in 1912 by a struggling Baltimore book salesman to the day in 1493 when Christopher Columbus and his crew looked back on their voyage and realized what they truly discovered was themselves. The Onion looks back at This Week in History. On July 21st, 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the surface of the moon. The moon, for Christ's sake.
This is Tranquility Base. The Eagle has landed. Jesus H. Christ, Houston. We're on the moon. Over.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy that. We cannot believe you are on the moon.
I'm descending the ladder. Just one more step and I'm wholly living. I absolutely am standing on the surface of the moon. Jesus H. Christ in a chicken basket.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. It is the live Sunday edition of the program. You are invited to join us here, as always. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, our Discord call-in lines are open and available to you at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to drop in there. And you can comment, sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Tonight it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
So I wasn't here last night on the live Saturday edition, as I normally am, because I was out at the Nashua, New Hampshire Black Lives Matter. I wouldn't call it a protest exactly. It was definitely a large gathering, vigil, or I don't know what the right word is for it. Probably about 1,000 people were at this thing. It was in a very large park called Greeley Park in Nashua. I'd never been there before. They had like a stage, what looked like a permanent stage set up in this park.
Okay.
Kind of like an auditorium style outdoor venue. And so big speakers were on the stage and everything, and they had microphone, and a number of people were there to speak. And the difference between this event and the ones I've been to previously, so I've been to the Black Lives Matter in Manchester, and I went to the one in Keene that happened earlier this week, and they were all big, right? Like Manchester, probably 1,000 people. Keene, probably several hundred. I would say it rivaled the numbers in Manchester. And Keene's, a quarter the size of a town. And then Nashua, probably at least 1,000, maybe even more than that in this.
Do you think it matters in Keene that, like one of the activists here saw some of the protesters, asked them where they were from. They chimed in very quickly, Keene, New Hampshire.
I heard that, yeah.
And that they, couldn't answer some rudimentary questions and obviously weren't from Keene.
Like where they got the food from that they were
Does
getting.
that mean anything at all? That that clearly people have been trucked in. I don't know that it doesn't mean anything.
Because otherwise, why wouldn't you have the events in every city on the same day. You're having it in different places on different days because you're bussing the same people around.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's no evidence for that. I mean, that's a speculation.
Well, there is evidence
That's
for that.
evidence.
That's evidence.
No, there's not evidence of that. That could simply be that, somebody
That's not
was here and
proof. And there's a
they may
difference
have
between
lied about
proof
where they were from.
and evidence, okay?
Yeah.
Evidence is that it just points towards something.
You just have somebody who doesn't know where, they got their lunch from, and they probably aren't from this area while they claim to be from here. I mean,
Right.
that's all you can really pull from that. You can't say that person came in on a bus because there was no evidence of a bus.
There was no bus. We could find no bus.
Right.
Or that so that they're bringing people in from other places, regardless of the means of transportation.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
kind of
about
the
that.
relevant
I mean,
point.
I came from Keene to go to Nashua, so I came from another place.
Right, and that's all I'm asking here is, does it matter? And I don't know if it does or
No,
not.
I don't think it matters at all.
I think it's interesting, and I think that people, for whatever reason, have this this bias that's built in that if somebody's not from a place for whatever reason, that their say is less meaningful. And I can get it. I can see that in some ways, and I
would
can
say if you
not
don't
see it in
live
others.
there, like I don't care where you're from. I care where you have chosen to be.
But the next step is where you're from.
Well, if I ask where you're from, I'm asking about your parents, and your parents can defend themselves if they so choose. If I ask where you live, I'm asking about you and the choices you're making currently.
Okay, well, I can tell you this. I have, as a free stater, somebody who moved to New Hampshire from the state of Florida for the purpose of finding a freer place to live and being in New Hampshire and working towards more freedom with activists, have been asked by state reps, where are you from? Where'd you move from? Like in an accusatory tone, suggesting that somehow my voice was less meaningful than theirs. Mind you, the lady in particular who did it was from Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right. So people do that. Yes. Is that logical? Would be what I would dispute.
And I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
if you
in
come
certain
from,
cases, it does matter where people are from. If, for instance, or at least it can seem that way, if, for instance, you are from New Hampshire, you may be more likely to have sort of a live free or die mentality because you grew up with that. If, on the other hand, you are from a surrounding New England state, you didn't grow up with that. And so as it's an unfair thing to do, but you can understand why some people would be like, oh, you're from Massachusetts? You're one of those people.
No, I will say, like, if you move somewhere, and you're not severing and abandoning the place that you came from, then that's an issue. And so if you're like, if I was to keep pieces of the place I came with me, then someone in New Hampshire would have every right to object to that. It's like, well, if you like where you came from, stay there. If you like where you moved to, then move to that place and be one of those people. So if people aren't doing that, yeah, that's an issue also.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that one guy who is my roommate, that's who you're referring to,
Yep.
Having a conversation with a couple people on the streets of Keene that wasn't satisfying to him is in any way significant or insignificant, if that, evidence that there are people being trucked in for these protests. Further, the Keene, New Hampshire is like 96% white. It's very homogenous kind of population here, and the portion of the attendees that were white were probably 96% at this particular event. So it wasn't like they got It wasn't like they got a bunch of, inner city blacks from Boston to come up to the Keene, New Hampshire protest. Nope. So if there were people coming in from Massachusetts, it was white people from Massachusetts.
I never claimed they came from Massachusetts.
Okay.
And
well,
I
I don't know where they came from.
And
right?
I think
they either came if they came into Keene, they either likely came from Massachusetts or Vermont. Right?
Well,
or they came from somewhere else in New Hampshire.
Right, or someplace else in New Hampshire. And I kind of, what I want to do is explore this idea. So if I come from a town surrounding Westmoreland, New Hampshire, which is a town directly adjacent to Keene, for the BLM protest in Keene, does that make my voice less meaningful in the BLM protest, more meaningful, or any of those things?
I wouldn't say it makes you any less meaningful, no.
If I come from the adjacent county, Hillsborough, to Keene, is my voice?
You took the time to come to a thing that you
less
thought was
meaningful
important.
or more meaningful?
I would say it is neither.
And I think that it's.
Well, I think that what a protest is trying to convey is the people here think XYZ. So if the people at the protest aren't the people that live there.
What does it mean to live here? I think that's what Mark is getting to. Are you saying that only people from within the arbitrary jurisdiction of the city of Keene, that particular landmass, should go?
We can abandon the government's borders and use like the general vicinity. So
what does that mean?
If you're outside
50 miles?
Is it a place you usually go to? Would you go there to get groceries? Would you go there to conduct business normally?
Well, people normally come here to go and get business done from as far away as Massachusetts and Vermont regularly.
But then they have no attachment to Keene, though. So
okay, well then that's contradictory to what you just said.
If I go to Disney World, then I'm not somehow relevant to Florida.
Okay, so then you take it back then. You don't mean the people who go and do business in Keene. Because there's a bunch of them.
Is that where they go? So if you live outside the city limits, if Keene is where you go to do things when you need things done, that's one thing. If
that's
you live
what they do.
50 miles away in Mass, and Keene is where you go when you have a big grocery run because you don't want to pay sales theft, that's another thing.
Okay, so the reasons why somebody goes to the place are important to you. I mean, we're just getting off into the weeds.
Yeah, because then I could just go to a protest in L.A. and be like, well, I count as L.A. because I went here and look, I rented a hotel room.
Okay, but that's not what's happening. We're not talking about that. There's not anybody who's going to fly across the country to go to Keene, New Hampshire's Black Lives Matter protest.
You don't know that.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say that
you don't know where they're from. So
I spoke with some of them, and they told me they were from Keene, and one guy said he was from Concord.
Okay. I'm just curious as to what it is. What is it about geography that makes us this primate that is? I mean, we're territorially based. And to say otherwise is nonsense. Well, property exists because we're a territorial primate.
Yeah. And people have tribes in certain areas, and
it's hard to have a community with someone who's past, X distance away.
Okay,
and so
but
if you are, then you're not part of the community, which is the relevant
I see what you're
point.
saying, but if these people are regular visitors to Keene, then they are part of the community, right? Like if they come more than a few times a year, that would qualify. You care enough to go more than once. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want here. It's Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited if you want to join us here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Protests. This wasn't where I was intending to go by bringing this up, but we ended up talking about what does it mean to have people coming in from outside of an area, and are there viewpoints that are being expressed at a physical location as legitimate as those who live in that general area? I think that kind of sums up the question on the table. Our toll-free number, if you want to weigh in on that, is 855-450-FREE. I didn't even get to the point I was trying to make about where I was last night and how this particular Black Lives Matter event compared to the previous two that I'd been to. And there was an important difference, and it's not a good one. We'll tell you about that here in a moment. 855-450-FREE. Now, communities issue their own currency backed by Intercoin. They can choose to inflate the circulating supply of their own money to spend on internal projects, or they can choose to tax certain transactions and remove money from circulation. These activities deterministically change the exchange rate of the community's local money to Intercoin without affecting the other communities or the rest of the Intercoin ecosystem. Each community can choose its own policies and openly program them into their coins, and each individual can choose what coins to get and how to spend them with upfront knowledge of what they're getting into. Intercoin is attempting to regain some of our freedoms that are threatened on the internet and in meat space, and we think it's important here on Free Talk Live. So important, Free Talk Live accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin tokens from Intercoin Incorporated for advertising. If you think this freedom is important too, check out Intercoin at intercoin.org. You can invest in this project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps shape its future. That's intercoin.org. Ian, Melanie, and Mark here in the studio. We're going to your phone calls and thoughts. Jerome is on the line in South Carolina. Jerome, you're on Free Talk Live.
South Carolina, not North Carolina.
Yes, that's what I said. Go ahead.
Anyway, is Xi Jinping, Vladimir Trump, and J. Edgar Hoover Barr, are they going to beg Russia to help them win another election? Because every time I hear about a poll, Trump's not doing so good.
It doesn't look good for Trump right now.
I'm not privy to what Putin does, so.
Yeah, and I don't know what Xi Jinping has to do with that.
I mean, no, I'm not. Why would he tell me?
Oh, you mean like poisoning people and putting hit squads on people? You're not familiar with
well, okay, I guess it would be more accurate to say I'm not privy to what Putin thinks and is going to do. I mean, obviously, I have the same news as you.
I'm going by what he has done already.
But you asked what he's going to do.
Who do you think's more dangerous to the future of the United States, Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin?
Hey, how many people did they murder in Tiananmen Square?
Lots.
How many people has mysteriously disappeared and or died in Russia? It's a toss-up, man.
Oh, it's not a toss-up. It is not a toss-up.
The threat to the United States is Donald Trump and the rest of the 535 maniacs in Congress.
I need to mention one other thing. You know, you were talking to me about, I don't know which one of you was talking about how many bombs President Obama dropped on countries while he was in office. You look up Trump's bombing record, okay?
Well, that's really
look up
tough.
Trump's bombing record.
So Donald Trump
it
doesn't report it.
Oh yeah, well my president dropped more bombs than your president did. I mean, this is a stupid comparison.
The U.S. has not been territorially attacked in over a century. Any president within the past century who's dropped one bomb has dropped too many.
Yeah, no doubt about it. These people are all tyrants. I mean, are you making excuses
at this
for
point,
dropping
we're
bombs?
arguing about who's the worst serial killer.
I'm not making any excuse. I'm looking for balance. Something I don't hear a lot because I live in a Republican state, okay? I'm looking for balance.
Well, that's why we're here, Jerome. We provide that balance.
Thank God for that. Thank God. God bless America.
Well, you can thank your local program director. Give him a call and say thanks for airing Free Talk
Live. We're not on speaking terms. Hey, I thank you for bringing you, but we're not on speaking terms.
Well, send him a card. There's nothing he can say about that, right?
There you go.
I'll send him some black orchids.
Okay, whatever it takes. Thanks, Jerome, for the call tonight. I appreciate it, man. Cindy's in Virginia listening to WNIS. Cindy, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I was just going to make a comment that you guys were talking about. Does it make any difference whether persons come from out of your area to protest? And the only thing I would say to add to what you guys were already saying was that it makes a difference if they're violent, because then they're being brought into your area, destroying property, and then leaving, and they don't have to suffer the consequences of.
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
did not happen. I'd just like to point that out. The Keene event was completely peaceful, and everything that happened after that was completely peaceful. There was no issues whatsoever.
The Keene event was during the day also.
Right, but then some people would, if they were going to cause trouble, would hang around till later and cause trouble later. They didn't.
I might concede that people from out of the area are more likely to be violent, but as far as I'm concerned, if I've got a storefront, I don't care whether somebody from my hometown threw a brick through it or somebody from Poughkeepsie came in and did it.
But someone from the outside is more likely to do it.
That's what I said before I started the statement.
Right.
Because they don't have to deal with it, because they can still go to their store without a brick through it.
Yeah, they don't care. They're not from this area. They don't care
as much.
Much.
Get the ID off the body.
Well, my question too is, why is it like in Virginia? I know a friend of mine went down to a storefront, and there was a few hundred people being bused by Black Lives Matters to an event in Norfolk, and they were being bused from Hampton. Hampton had several of its own events, and so I'm just kind of wondering, what was the purpose of that? Why were they organizing to bring people? Were they trying to make it look like there were more protesters in certain areas?
Well, at this point, we're kind of speaking on what someone else thinks in their head, but to me, the obvious motivation for that would be to make it look like your event has more support than it does, that it's more widespread than it actually is, stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, because also Norfolk and Virginia Beach did turn violent after it turned dark, and apparently these were well organized because the police already had advance notice that these things were going to happen, even to the time that it was going to turn violent.
Interesting.
Because my daughter was at one of the events pretty much most of the time, and everything was pretty peaceful. They left, and then her friend's sister was still there, and she was there when she reported that it turned violent, and they broke into some of the storefront areas where the march had ended. And that the police didn't throw the first thing. The protesters actually threw some kind of a incendiary canister or tear gas canister or something at the police. And I think somebody got hit in the head with that. But anyway, then immediately they said, okay, this is not a peaceful protest anymore. You're illegal. You can't be here anymore. So you have to disperse immediately. So, and that's what I wish all the cities would do. I am all for people protesting peacefully. More power to you. I'm all with you. 100% of everyone I've ever talked to over this Mr. Floyd issue, I don't care whether he was a criminal before or whatever. What happened to him was wrong, and that policeman is getting what he deserves. He should be in jail for murder. But all this violence, I just don't understand what's the point of this. What is it proving, and how is it helping their cause or anybody's cause?
Well, it doesn't. Whenever you have a movement and it's a public thing, right? It's happening publicly in public places.
Right. People don't sign up.
You can't control who shows up. And so even if you do everything possible to keep people peaceful and encourage peaceful behavior, if some fool wants to show up and throw a brick through a window because that's what they got, a hard-on to do or whatever, they're going to do it.
Or if the cops want to put in an agent provocateur.
Right.
If you say that a protest can't go on because there's been a violent act that happened in that protest, then all the police departments have to do is send out one of their guys in regular clothes to do something violent.
And that's happened.
And everything's shut down.
And the police have been
It's provable it's happened.
They've been caught doing that stuff. So thank you, Cindy. Great call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live.
They have to pass a law that all the guns that are currently there have to disappear in a puff of smoke. That's what they have to do.
Oh, wait, you mean the bad guys won't actually give up their firearms when the authorities come around to confiscate them?
It doesn't really matter that they won't give up their firearms because we're going to pass a law.
Oh, because we pass a law, they'll just all disappear.
Right, yeah.
Man, it's just amazing how powerful laws are.
Yes.
How just
laws aren't a bunch of dumb crap written on paper. They actually do something. It's really, really stupid.
What will be stupid is if they vote for it.
Yeah, if
take our guns.
You know, these criminals with the guns are going to kill people.
Yeah, they already are, apparently.
And if you don't have a weapon of your own, you're just as good as dead. Once the laws go into effect, that there shouldn't be any weapons anymore, because then they know that the good people don't have weapons.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. This live Sunday edition of the program. Joining you in the studio, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Minneapolis may be looking to disband their police department. Melanie's got that story. That's on the way here tonight, and that sounds potentially promising. Sounds unlikely, but I'm willing to hear more about that. And then also a major update on the Michigan situation with a 77-year-old barber who has been just really doing what it takes to continue running his business despite the lockdown, violating the various different governor's orders there. We'll tell you what happened in his case with the Supreme Court. And our toll-free number, again, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord call-in line rooms are over at discord.lrn.fm. Hop into one of those. We'll join you in there, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. So, the rest of the story that I was telling at the beginning of the show, how I've been to 3 different Black Lives Matter related protests/vigil events in 3 different cities here in New Hampshire. So there was Manchester was the first one I went to. That was last Saturday. Then Keene had one on like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. And then there was one last night in Nashua. I took the night off from the show to go to. And there was a key difference between what I saw at Nashua and what I saw at Manchester and Keene, and that is at Nashua, the event had been co-opted by politicians, and that was not good.
Well, that's where it's going to go,
and that's where it has gone.
That's what happened to
Occupy.
Well, I don't. Yeah, did Occupy have politicians? It did.
Yeah. It did. So, and
certainly
that's
the Tea Party.
That happened there too. So what you have is this pattern where there's this thing. It's a grassroots thing. It starts from the grassroots or whatever. Now some people believe it's all completely organized from the outside. That it's the Soroses and whatever. It looked grassroots to me. Okay. Being at Manchester, being at Keene, I know the guy who organized the Keene thing.
Yep.
Turns out. And so I mean I don't think that was as fake as some people want to believe that it is.
Right, you can dismiss it because it's somebody from far away who has put it together. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about when we talked about sort of location. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not talking about the people organizing it. So the people organizing it are from around here.
Right.
But they brought in politicians at the Nashua event to speak. And I suspect
from New Hampshire, right?
Mostly from Nashua. But so they had like the mayor who read a proclamation, and then there were a couple of aldermen from the Nashua City Council, and then there was a New Hampshire senator. I don't think she's from Nashua. I'm not sure where she's from, but there's a black lady who's a New Hampshire senator. She's the first black person, I believe, to be on the New Hampshire Senate in history, if not the first black woman. So she's got some importance for sure. But she's
the Republicans ran a black guy for U.S. Senate last
talking about
term.
state Senate.
I know.
So anyway, she gets on the stage and she's talking about how most cops are good people, and I'm like, oh my God, does this lady know her audience? But that was the beginning of it, and I knew it was going to be getting bad from there because then they brought the mayor up, and like I said, he just reads this proclamation, which of course a proclamation doesn't mean anything, right? A proclamation is where the city council and the mayor say, "We, the city of Nashua, believe blah 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 blah." It doesn't say anything about what we're going to do. It doesn't say anything about, oh yeah, we're going to tell our police department to stop enforcing victimless crime laws. They didn't do that. Right? There wasn't any actual promise. Right? Politicians make promises all the time when they're running for office. In this case, they had actual office-holding politicians, so they did nothing of the sort. They didn't make any promises. Why
would they?
They just got up and released some platitudes or whatever. That was basically what they did. And so that was a big change between these events. And so it is definitely following the pattern of the Tea Party, following the pattern of Occupy, which of course was about a decade ago now, by the way. Occupy was, I think, 2011. And it went the same way, where politicians saw a parade and
jumped in front of it.
They ran out in front of the parade, and it worked. So I am expecting that, there's a lot of talk about, is this another revolution in America? I don't know if you've seen some of the headlines out there. I had one in my show prep as well, where people are seeing the craziness in the streets, and it is at a level that I don't think we've ever seen in recent decades in the United States. So I don't mean to downplay the importance of what has been going on, but I'll say this: if the events continue to be co-opted by the political class, these politicians, this movement isn't going to go anywhere. There's nothing that's going to change.
That's what happened with Occupy. That's what happened with Tea Party, and that's what's going to happen here.
That's the way it looks, at least up here.
Yeah.
At least for right now.
That's how it's going to go. Politicians love a parade because they can hop out in front of it, and
as long as people keep getting fooled by these politicians, then the cycle will begin yet again. People
and don't
will calm
forget
down.
What Occupy did and what the politicians did to it. Don't forget what the Tea Party did and what the politicians did to it. So the Tea Party was about lower taxes. Politicians get in there and they start, with your regular Republican talking points.
Yep.
And they divided everybody. And then everything was gone. Like, it just went away. Yeah, they got a few people in office. Things have changed in so much as the faces changed.
But nothing has changed.
Probably not. I mean, I think you could say
Did the Republicans make government smaller?
When did they have a chance since the Tea Party?
Trump.
Yeah, Trump. Was there a Republican House, Republican Senate?
I think there
Republican
was.
White House?
For a short time?
No, I guess it would be the answer. No. It doesn't surprise me. I'm just making sure that we're making a true statement.
And I
here.
guarantee you that if there's a wave of blue, Democrats that get into office, they're not going to reform the police in any meaningful sense either. There's not going to be an end to the war on drugs, which of course is a huge factor in why young people and blacks and Hispanics are
you
targeted.
You can't talk about race relations in the United States without talking about the war on drugs. You can't have an honest conversation.
Not a single word about that was mentioned on the stage last night at this national event. Nothing. So I got to say, because of that, I'm not particularly optimistic that this time anything is going to change. But then again, I'm just talking about the events I've been to here in New Hampshire, right? Like, these may be completely different than the energy and the people involved in other places. But if you want to weigh in on that discussion, you're welcome to join us. Meanwhile, we go to Robert in South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Go ahead, Robert.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that in the competition between China and Russia vis-a-vis the United States, there's no question in my mind that China will beat both the United States and Russia, pants down. I mean, hands down.
How so?
Why?
At what?
Why? Because they have the three most important characteristics under control. One is the people power. The second one is the investment power, and the third one is the priorities and the planning. China is investing 20 times as much in the United States as genetic research, which I consider to be by far the most important aspect. The people power, they have about 4 times as many people as the Chinese as the Russians do, and in terms of investments, they're very strong in that area, investing in just about every country in the world significantly, and they have their 5-year plans stretch out now for 100 years. They have everything planned for about 100 years. So, and they also have a system that provides them with a kind of the ability to make decisions quickly and effectively with little resistance or virtually no resistance, to be more exact.
Agreed. So I've listened to your points, and I like what you've said. I think you've thought about this. I would say this regarding decision-making. Decisions that are made quickly and implemented quickly aren't always an asset. So if you make the wrong decision and implement it quickly, then all you've done is implemented a bad decision. And authoritarians don't get a lot of great feedback, so they are more likely to make bad decisions. I would further say China has an ineffective military. They've basically been in no conflicts or no conflicts of consequence, whereas the United States military is battle-hardened with centuries, sadly, of experience in this arena. Yes, they've got soft power, and they can implement soft power, meaning money given to other countries for development, that sort of thing. If we keep Robert, I'd like him to address this. But the United States citizens hate the idea of giving money to other countries, and I'd say that the Chinese government has an advantage there.
We're coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. A major update from the Supreme Court on the Michigan barbers' civil disobedience. Coming up.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
So you're wearing a mask every day now?
Yeah.
Where are you getting them?
Same website where I get my neck and body wraps, sunnybay.com.
Really?
And they're handmade, just like their wraps in the USA.
Oh, and good quality?
Oh, very good. These are disposable face masks. And they make cloth face masks, too.
Good price?
That's the best part. 10 masks for only $6.
Wow.
As a public service, sunnybay.com is now making cloth face masks by hand in the Seattle area and sourcing disposable face masks with level 1 protection at sunnybay.com. Get a 10-pack of high-quality disposable face masks for only $6 or choose a handmade, washable, reusable cloth face mask with high 2 layers of quality cotton fabrics. Supplies are limited. Get details and order at sunnybay.com, a Biomed DB design company. Go to sunny-bay.com for disposable or cloth face masks. Just click sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live brought to you by Bitcoin.com. Go and get the basics on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency like Bitcoin Cash at Bitcoin.com. Also, if you are not so new to to cryptocurrency, you can go and get the latest news headlines there on their news site over at news.bitcoin.com. They've got their own exchange. They've got local.bitcoin.com that allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash directly from other people. It's a pretty cool site. There's a lot to it at bitcoin.com. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Thanks, by the way, to Teddy Graham, who is a Free Talk Live Gold amplifier, somebody who supports the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It helps us get on more radio stations around the United States and bring new people on board to hear the ideas of freedom. So if that's valuable to you, if it's worth the cost of a fancy cup of coffee or a cheeseburger, I imagine those prices are going up pretty soon, then the AMP program is only $5 a month, and it makes a big difference for us to when you do that. So please go to amp.freetalklive.com like Teddy Graham did. He is a gold amplifier, so he's doing $10 a month, so thank you for that. Over at amp.freetalklive.com. Mark, you wanted to continue the discussion with Robert from South Carolina. He's still on with us. You were talking about China and Russia and who's a bigger threat. Is that what the point of this discussion was?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And Robert pointed out some of the very good points surrounding China. I would add to Robert's points. He says they've got the people power, meaning that they've got 4 times the population of the U.S. and Russia. I guess they must be the same. He said Russia, so I presume, since it is 4 times the population of the U.S., I presume the populations are very similar.
Russia has a population of 144 million.
So it's about 8 times the population of Russia.
China has 1.39 billion. So China's about 10 times
Russia
the size.
But population. I would also point out that China graduated last year 10 times the STEM graduates that the United States did, with 4 times the population, which shows a population that is either more interested in or more directed towards useful and important from a global domination standpoint jobs. I would also point out that the graduates the United States had were probably what I'll call demographically dubious, meaning that a lot of them probably weren't really aren't Americans. They're probably people, foreigners coming to the United States to graduate, and many of those are Chinese. And then they're Chinese Americans and Indian Americans and these sorts of things. Now, look, I want as many Chinese Americans in the United States as we can possibly get because I think they're great Americans. But at the same time, I would say that China seems to have no problem infiltrating places, including the United States, and they have to do that with people. And likely those people will be Chinese people pretending to be Chinese Americans. Robert?
Yes, sir. I agree with all of that. And I have a couple of friends who are experts in their field. One of them is originally Russian, and he came from Russia as a child, and the Chinese invited him to come to visit. And I have another good friend in the United States who came from Israel, actually, and he works for the United States government. He's one of their leading researchers, and the Chinese invited him also to come to visit. And when he came back, he told me, "Man, they're going to bury us." That's what. And he's a genetic researcher. So just to give you an idea of where they stand, the Chinese are dead serious, and beside that, they plan 100 years in advance. Not just they have 25-year plans lined up. It's very difficult to predict exactly what the will bring, but as I mentioned before, if they have to make any changes, they're ready, willing, and able to do that on the spot as they see it's necessary. And in addition to that, when the Chinese give money out, they give it with strings attached.
Yep.
You have to cooperate with them in every way, shape, or form if you know what's good for you.
If you want more of the money, plus they're basically doing what was written about in the Memoirs of an Economic Hitman, if I remember that correctly, Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, whatever it might be. They're using that as a guide on how to create soft power around the world. So, yeah, and I'll tell you, in a battle, if you have 2 sides and one side knows that they're in a battle and the other side doesn't.
Thank you, Robert, for your call tonight. Appreciate it. Let's go to Larry in Indianapolis, listening online. Go ahead, Larry.
I was just looking at the protest here in our town, and it was a radio program this morning in the city, and there was the woman from Black Lives Matters on there, right? Well, what she's doing is she's using a religious model to dupe her followers. The first thing she said is we want to defund law enforcement. She knows that that's impossible, and she knows it's not going to happen. Then she started making fanatical claims. Then she started.
Well, hold on, Larry. I want to just interrupt you on that first point about defunding law enforcement. So at our local libertarian meetup here today, there was a gentleman who is a regular attendee he was talking about what the media has been saying, because apparently CNN ran an article recently saying protesters are saying defund law enforcement. Here's what that means. And then CNN explains that what they mean by defund law enforcement, now whether the individual actually means this or not is another question, but CNN is trying to create the narrative.
Whoa, wait, I know that sounds scary, so let's explain it to you.
Yeah. So CNN's like, oh, well, what that means is they want to take a portion of law enforcement funding and redirect it towards helping the poor or something like that, right? Take a portion of law enforcement and redirect it. So it's not like they're saying, and again, individuals, I bet, would agree that law enforcement should be completely disbanded, many of them. But CNN's trying to present this perspective of, oh, it's just a small, it's just a cut to law enforcement, and we're going to cut funding from law enforcement, maybe demilitarize them a little bit, and move the money elsewhere. So it's not going to make government smaller. It's probably not going to really make law enforcement that much smaller. It's just talk. That's all it is. Go ahead.
I mean, somebody could say, I want something to happen.
And it won't.
And that doesn't mean they think it's going to.
Well, they were talking 6 months ago about defunding ICE, and ICE is still here.
Yeah.
That's a fanatical claim, right? We know it's not going to happen. It's unattainable, but they use this to dupe their followers into thinking it's really going to happen. They also said that they want to make the police go around without guns and talked about the FOP. Well, if you understand how the FOP works, they're just the brotherhood that offers a law enforcement service to any city
is
under contract.
The FOP is what?
Is a mutual insurance society that are for the benefit of their members, and they do.
Is that the Fraternal Organization of Police? What does it stand for? Okay.
Yeah, fraternal. That means blood is in the mix somewhere. So what happens is these people come out lying about what they're going to do. They want the cops to walk around the street with no guns. Well,
I actually think that's a decent proposal.
They do it in
England,
but, and most of Europe.
But here's the solution. They need to get together and get their own order of police and then compete contractually against these cops that are out there now.
Well, are you talking about there would be a free market and protection services?
Yeah,
because
free market,
if that's, I mean, I'm on board with that. That sounds great.
So they have threat management in Detroit. That's a private sector security agency. It's not police, because police are not a security agency.
Right.
That's kind of how they sell themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really compete. Like, if I could have a security agency, I mean, probably not me, but if somebody has a security agency and they do, 100% good job, the police will still exist, because the police don't have to have a market demand. They exist through stealing money and killing people. So you can't out-compete an aggressor because they're not competing.
Well, here you go. You got a problem, right? Now, you have to have a salvation to that problem. And I think for all these Black Lives Matter people, they need to get together at training schools and everything and train their own cops. And then when the city council lets the public safety budget, they can come in there and bid on the contract just like anybody else. We bid on the contract now. And the people can decide this also, because they're going to say, we're going to eliminate deadly force. If somebody's at your house shooting at a gunfight at your house, we're going to drive on by and let them kill whoever gets killed and let them see how you like it. But I think this whole thing is nothing but using a religious model, the fanatical claims, the convictional language like liberty and justice and equality. Those are all
well, that's all
politics.
I think you're onto something there, Larry, and thank you for the call tonight. I mean, that's ultimately what the belief of the state is. It's a religious model, except they're not as open with the whole idea that, or they don't actually have any kind of statement about the origin of the universe. Okay, so that's the one thing that, or the purpose or nature of it. That's sort of the one key difference between a religion and what the state is.
But people seem to faithfully believe that somehow we couldn't make it by providing goods and services in the marketplace as opposed to a monopoly system like the state.
Right, and it is believed with a religious fervor.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that statism is a religion.
It certainly has trappings.
It meets almost all of the requirements to be a religion.
That were put forth by the state, who doesn't want people to think it's a religion. Those requirements.
Well, no, I just mean like the definition of a religion. It's pretty much a religion. 855 450 free. They do believe in something that is a supernatural, superpower kind of thing that is greater than the sum of its parts. That's the whole idea behind the state. And we'll continue here in moments. Hour number 2 is next on Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,740, silver at $18.77, and Bitcoin is trading at $10,060. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, the Kentucky National Guard fired live ammunition at a crowd while enforcing the recently imposed curfew in the very early hours of Monday morning, leaving at least one person dead. The Mind Unleashed reports the incident took place just after midnight, according to Louisville Metro Police Chief Steve Conrad, who said that the city's police were sent to a parking lot to break up a crowd along with the National Guard. The police and the National Guard claim they were shot at during the altercation, but they have given no proof to support those claims. Meanwhile, amid racial unrest across the nation, President Trump on Monday declared himself the president of law and order and threatened to deploy the United States military to American cities to quell a rise of violent protests. Earlier, he spoke to governors on a video teleconference with law enforcement and national security officials, telling the state leaders they have to get much tougher, criticizing their responses. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. George Floyd, who died after being choked by Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin last Monday, succumbed to asphyxiation as a result of Chauvin's actions. That's according to an independent autopsy ordered by his family. The Free Thought Project reports the findings of the autopsy, carried out by medical examiners Dr. Michael Baden and Dr. Alicia Wilson, differ from those of the Hennepin County, Minnesota medical examiner, who examined Floyd's body before Chauvin was charged with murder on Friday. Floyd's apparent murder shocked the nation, with a video showing the last agonizing 8 minutes of his life, triggering protests and riots across the U.S. Nearly a week later, the protests have escalated into full-blown anarchy, looting, and arson. People in a number of international cities violated bans on large gatherings over the weekend to show solidarity with protests against police brutality that have exploded in at least 140 cities across the United States. The Free Thought Project reports political leaders overseas condemn the killing of George Floyd, who died after now former Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin pressed his knee into Floyd's neck for over 8 minutes, while the man was unarmed and handcuffed, and his onlookers pleaded with Chauvin to stop. An estimated 1,500 people in Berlin marched Sunday, a day after more than 2,000 people gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, where they chanted Black Lives Matter and held pictures of Floyd. In England, officials Friday denounced the arrest of CNN correspondent Omar Jimenez and his camera crew as they reported on the protests in Minneapolis. Michelle Bachelet, the High Commissioner for Human Rights at the United Nations, called on the United States to take serious action to end police killings of civilians, which happened nearly 1,100 times in 2019. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Already struggling to get by on the basic necessities of day-to-day life, lunatics across the nation confirmed today that they are now barely able to afford the quickly rising price of car meat.
I've got 14 Barbara Streisands to feed and 3 more on the way. Day and night they shout, "We're hungry, Admiral. We want grade A Honda loaf. We want Nissan truck."
I just want to know what Bruno Mars plans to do about this. He sits around all day eating Audi ribeye and limousine bouillabaisse while we scrape by with taxi shanks. Meanwhile, the men at arms are still overseas fighting the war on Wheel of Fortune.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. And as always, we're here to take your phone calls about whatever you want. The live Sunday edition. It continues as it's Ian with you.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Got big news about the Michigan barber, the 77-year-old man who has been violating governor's orders there in Michigan. It's gone to the Michigan Supreme Court, and we'll give you the results, which are surprising. But first, we're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts. You can bring up what you want. Then, will Minnesota be abolishing their police department? Minneapolis, Minnesota specifically.
Oh, I know the answer to that.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, I have a prediction. How's that?
Okay. And what's the prediction?
No.
It's a good prediction, but we'll see here. Time will tell, and there's interesting development about that. Melanie will explain that story to us. But first, we go to your calls and thoughts. Perry is first up in Virginia, listening online. Perry, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hi, I just want to get your take on old-aged politicians. Nothing against old people in general, but I just don't agree with most old people's views and beliefs. I think a lot of them are corrupt, power-hungry racists who only care about their own security and agendas. you can see the signs of this by the way they handled COVID-19, for example, and by how they keep protecting corrupt police and don't allow for positive change for the people. Do you think that once these old, corrupt, racist, pathetic politicians like Donald Trump and his supporters die off, then the United States can finally move towards peace and equality?
Well, don't you
peace
think...
and equality is kind of vague.
Well, I'd like to say this, though. Don't you think that it's actually a problem with power, that power will attract the corrupt, that power will attract the people who, regardless of their age, are interested in wielding that power?
I agree with that, but I'm hoping that there will be less
Less
racists,
what?
at least.
Less racist.
So it's all about racism?
And
Is that where we're going to focus on here, or are we going to go for other types of corruption?
Other types. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to focus on that now, but I'm just. That's what the country is focusing on: COVID-19 and racism, right?
The country seems to be focusing on COVID-19 and racism. I'll give you that. Sure.
I would hope that the country is focusing more on police abuse than it is on racism. Certainly, race is an aspect of what has happened here, but I hope that there aren't people out there who, in their protesting of what happened with George Floyd and other people who've been snuffed out by the police in recent years. I hope that there aren't actually people who are saying, "Hey, it's not fair that blacks are being arrested and beaten by police at twice the rate as everybody else. Everyone should be beaten and arrested by police at the same rate." I think we should be opposing all police violence against anybody who doesn't deserve it.
Racist police without the police part is just some idiot guy sitting in his living room being like, "I sure do hate me some black people." It's when you add the police part that you have actual negative results.
Yeah, that's true. But to get back to your question, Perry, is the dying off of the
I think
older
the answer
generation?
to Perry's question is yes. As the likelihood is that an older person is more likely to be racist than a younger person, at least by what the modern standards of racism are. So therefore, we would have a less racist world as a result. As far as COVID-19 went, yes, it affected older people disproportionately to younger people, and you cannot expect a demographic to act in a suicidal fashion. So I'd say that, yeah, that's true. I also think that from an aesthetic standpoint, that having one age group sort of rule us all isn't particularly useful. And we found scientifically at this point that it's not like 70 and 80-year-olds are wiser and better at this stuff than we are. At this point, we know that a person's mind from like 45 to 65 is better. Go ahead.
Use this for an example. If Trump had died of old age before he became president, don't you think we'd be in a slightly better place, hopefully?
No,
I don't think that Hillary Clinton would have been significantly better.
They're both just probably as bad. There's even an argument that Clinton would have been
I think Hillary Clinton would have been worse.
There's an argument that Clinton would have been more of a warmonger than Trump would have.
She certainly wants to invade Russia.
But he dropped bombs too, just like Barack Obama dropped bombs. And I suspect that, and Barack Obama was a younger man as far as presidents were concerned, but I don't think the people in the Middle East who were on the receiving end of the various bombs that
care
were dropped.
About how old the president was.
I don't think they. Yeah, and I don't think they care that Barack Obama was half black either. I don't think that made any difference to them when the bombs were falling and their loved ones were screaming.
Well, I say out with the old, in with the new.
I say out with all of it because the whole idea of having a state, whether it's run by young people or whether it's run by old people, is the essence of corruption. To have a centralized power that people can go and seek and use to wield over other peaceful people. That's what needs to end.
What about the way they handled COVID-19? Like the handling of COVID-19, do you think that would have been slightly better?
That would have been exponentially better.
But wait, hold on. Who's saying wait?
If there weren't a bunch of scared old people as politicians.
No, not necessarily. I see I see plenty of young people wearing masks like a bunch of scaredy cats around here. I mean, so I don't know if I buy that young people would somehow be.
Hillary Clinton likely would have kept. I'm sorry, Hillary Clinton would have likely kept Barack Obama's pandemic squad, which likely would have given them a few days more notice. And it took a statist to really want to lock things down like Donald Trump finally did.
Mm-hmm.
So, a week's advance might have been useful in COVID-19. So
Are you saying you would have supported a lockdown?
I'm saying that he asked me what I thought if a thing would have happened, not whether or not I support it.
Okay.
And that's a different prediction.
Well, yeah, I don't think it would have made a difference if it had been young people who'd been responding to COVID-19, because government attracts people in search of power. Would you agree? Would you agree with that, Perry?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would have to. I think you have a good point there, maybe.
Yeah. Well, there's this. You can look up. There's scientific studies that have been done on power in human beings and how people behave when they're exposed to power, and
Not only does power corrupt, but power attracts the corrupt.
You can also look up what jobs are attractive to sociopaths.
And politician is definitely
high up on that list.
One of them. Perry, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate the questions. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, just look at, what's her name? AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
She is young, and she is just as into power as the rest of them. Now, she may be better
Maybe
on
even
criminal
more.
justice.
Like, she thinks the government can do more things.
Yeah, sure. Well, she may be right on some criminal justice issues, but ultimately she's still a power seeker, and she still wants to wield violence.
But as long as you have a older voting base, you're going to have policies that appeal to older people.
No doubt.
Whatever your voting base is, if you live in a variation of democracy, you're going to have policies that reflect that.
Well, Snoop Dogg is saying he's going to vote for the first time in his life, so now everything's going to change.
Finally. Well, I think what Snoop Dogg will find out is that voting, that when he doesn't vote, he gets corrupt old politicians, and when he does vote, he's going to get corrupt
I don't know if I would
politicians.
have admitted that if I was him. It's not like he has any ideological reason to not have voted in his entire life.
No, it's just inconvenient. Why
he's just a
bother?
What is he, like 40?
I think he's probably 50. Snoop Dogg's probably 50.
Yeah, so what has he been doing until
Making rap albums, doing things that, are producing for Snoop Dogg. I'm joking, of course. I'm not for a moment suggesting that that's going to make any sort of difference, but clearly the whole get out the vote thing is going to be a big deal this year, just like it always is. They try to get young people to vote, and they generally don't, and ultimately it won't make a difference because the people they're voting for are corrupt scum.
I'd like to have a little, I'd like to make a suggestion that sounds a little less libertarian here.
Sure, and if they're not
departments.
corrupt scum, they will become corrupt. If they go into politics and they're not already corrupt, then they'll become corrupt, no matter what their age is. Go ahead.
So if police departments were to attempt to mirror demographically their particular area, I mean, we know where their areas are. They draw little maps and say, this is our area. And you can look at the demographics of those areas, that you will find a less of an opportunity for people to complain about whatever's going on. So, for instance, Ferguson, Missouri, which I believe, if I remember correctly, was 80% black and had an 80% white police force.
I recall that.
Is the optics there are unpleasant. You don't hear about the unarmed black men being shot by black police generally. You hear them.
It's got to happen.
It
We
has
just probably
to
don't
happen.
hear about it. 855-450-FREE, because it's a power thing more than anything else. 855-450-FREE.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com. Did you know you can support freedom of speech just by visiting shop.freetalklive.com? You'll see links to Walmart, Love Java, Newegg, and more. Every day, Free Talk Live is at the forefront of the liberty movement as the biggest liberty-oriented talk show in the world, giving you a platform to be heard on any topic. Get listener-only specials without doing anything other than an extra click. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. Use the links and buy what you'd be buying anyway. Take action now. Save and support freedom. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. It's shop.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You're invited if you want to join us here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And I want to make sure that you are aware of ForkFest 2020. It's coming up, and it's coming up fast. We are, 3 weeks away? 2 now?
Is it that close?
2 weeks. 2 weeks away from the beginning of what was previously known as the Porcupine Freedom Festival, but now also includes ForkFest.
And what is that, a Monday?
That's right, Monday the 22nd.
Okay,
so we're literally just about 2 weeks from that. That starts on the 22nd. The Porcupine Freedom Festival goes through the 28th, and then ForkFest goes the 29th through the 5th, although some are arguing ForkFest should now be a 2-week-long event, and some will begin celebrating it on the 22nd. So from the 22nd through the 5th, we're looking forward to seeing you there. Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event.
When do they do the fireworks?
On the 4th of July.
That's a good day to do it.
Yeah. So it happens to be a Saturday. Normally, Rogers Campground does the fireworks on that weekend of whatever weekend is, I guess, closest to the 4th of July. But this weekend, it just so happens to be on a Saturday, so it's perfectly timed. And that'll be the final night of ForkFest, which is the decentralized libertarian camping festival. Looking forward to seeing some number of our listeners there. We don't know what to expect this year. Will the numbers be up from last year? Will they be down due to the whole COVID nonsense? I have no idea. I know that Crosby, the owner of the campground last month did tell me that numbers were down overall for both the Porcupine Freedom Festival and Fork Fest, but it's been about a month since I spoke with him, so
as far
maybe
as down as far as registrations.
comparing the same time last year to the same time this
Gotcha.
year, camping site registrations down. But then again, people do tend to procrastinate. Most tickets sold to
and people
events
don't know
happen
what-
in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, people
so-
don't know what's going on in the world either, so they're more
Right.
likely to
It's a
kick
lot
the
up in
can
the
down
air.
the road. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Maybe it could blow up and be bigger than it was last year because it was pretty good last year.
Well, there was nothing to do, and like, there's nothing else to do.
There really is absolutely
if
nothing
you're
else.
looking how to spend your summer Liberty Convention dollar, then it gets a little complicated.
Yep, it's true. All right, so we're going to continue, and you can bring up anything that you want. We're going to the phones and to George. He's in Pennsylvania. George, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
I just wondered how this is going to work if they do away with some of these police forces. One thing, who's going to pay for it? Let's say there's a robbery and somebody shot up the store. Then these guys that supposedly they're self-police come and say, well, that's a buddy. I'm not going to arrest him. If that would happen, I don't know.
I mean, that happens now.
Pardon?
That
She
happens
said-
now.
Yeah, she said that happens now, talking about police giving their friends favors,
Oh.
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
But who's going to pay for it?
Who's going to pay for what? Who's going to pay for not having cops?
For the self-policing.
The people
When they
who
have to
need
have
protection
guys-
services. Although the Threat Management Center gives a lot of stuff away, or a lot of services away, they have...
What is the Threat Management Center?
The Threat Management Center is a security company in Detroit. They have clients who pay them to protect their properties, and they also provide free community services. I was on their website like yesterday. They will...
What if somebody shoots somebody on the road and it's murder? That isn't protection there. That's a random act.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. I
The
mean,
cops
even
aren't going to prevent that either, though.
Right, the police today will not stop someone from rolling up to you at a stoplight and pointing a gun at you and shooting you. That
Seems
cannot be-
unlikely.
I mean, that's kind of a personal responsibility thing. You need to have your own gun in your car. And if you live somewhere that's not allowed, well, if there's no more cops, then there's no more people disallowing that.
Yeah, I mean, the police are generally not there when violence happens, for the most part, right? Like, the odds that the cops are going to
I mean,
be...
they have to investigate it. A detective has to investigate it.
Sure.
And try to find out who did it.
Sure, and you could have someone providing investigative services like that without having a monopoly. I don't know what they're planning to do in Minneapolis, but we will get into that story coming up here in a moment where they are talking about
Yeah,
disbanding the police.
Arbitration services do exist now. They don't do things like murders right now currently because they're not really allowed to. So if that wasn't the case, maybe arbitration services would and I'm not talking about like in your terms of services on page 800. Those exist too, but like in New Hampshire, they have actual arbitration for actual disputes between people that happen quickly and cheaply. So that is a thing that exists. It's not widespread, and it's not for murder as far as I know, because it's not allowed to be.
Okay, so the whole statement of let's get rid of the police department does have a lot associated with it, and we're scratching the surface of that now by talking about, well, what about putting somebody in a jail cell who this is sort of the typical punishment that we're used to.
Sheriffs have traditionally been the holders of the keys to the jail, and police are something that came out. The first police force in the world was 1850s. So in some places, the sheriff acts as basically a police force, but traditionally, people were just brought in and charges were laid against them, and the people who laid the charges had some responsibility for it. Currently now with the state, there are no responsibilities for laying charges. And
so what are you saying? You're saying there could be like a facility run by the sheriff's department that could accept prisoners from any bounty hunter or whoever that's going after an alleged criminal, and then that person bringing that person, the bounty hunter or whoever brings the alleged criminal in, would then have some sort of liability for their actions, meaning if they got the wrong guy, they would be held liable for that?
It depends on if the person who's bringing someone in initiates the charges, right? So in many cases, the bounty hunters, like the Pinkerton men and that sort of thing, they would bring people in at the behest of the sheriff. There would be a bounty put up, and they would just say, oh, well, great.
But I'm talking about now, where the idea of what Melanie and what some other folks, including we've talked about on Free Talk Live, of having competitive services for enforcing whatever the rules are in society. We don't want to have a one-size-fits-all monopoly, so there's going to be different ones out there.
I think
Would
the
they
easiest
still be
thing you
going
could do
to a
for
centrally controlled, jail?
The
in that
easiest
case?
thing you could do for police is to severely limit or do away with what we call qualified immunity. Qualified immunity means that police officers and other government bureaucrats don't have responsibility for their actions when they do certain things. And everybody else who works every other job has a responsibility for their actions. Why shouldn't they?
George, your thoughts?
Yeah. What about, you said something about prison? Would the county still pay for the prisons if these bounty hunters find somebody and bring them in? Or?
Okay, so I don't know how it works now, but for the advocation of getting rid of the police, which I advocate for, I would saying, oh, I'm the sheriff, not the police. Like, okay, that's not really the point. I would include all police in that. If you're going to have jail, and I'm not saying that you necessarily should, there are other solutions to some of those things, but just assume that we're going to have jail anyway. It's not that expensive to just lock somebody in the room. The state right now pays $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year per prisoner to keep them in jail, depending on where you are exactly in the country. There's absolutely no reason for that. It's a room that you can't get out of. And I guess you have to feed them. So there's no reason why that has to be some kind of absurd expense. And if people want that service enough, like any other service, they're going to have to pay for it.
Thank you, George, for your call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. It is hard to try to think about how do we get from where we are now to some sort of decentralized alternative. I mean, it's not easy, right? And I think the sort of middle point of getting rid of local cops and still having a state-controlled thing might be a step in the right direction, like a state-controlled jail. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
We call him Willy Wonka. He's a chocolate lab. His belly itched, and he would actually lay in the grass and scoot across it to scratch. And Sheba, his sister, she scratched at her ears real bad, and she shook her head so much, she wound up with cauliflower ears.
DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition.
When we first got the Dinovite, they cleaned the bowls up real good. Her ears, they're a whole lot better. Wonka, his belly, it's all really cleaned up. He flops over and lays on his back and just kicks his legs, and I call it his happy dance. They look good and even smell good in between baths. You should give your dogs Dinovite before something happens. And that's kind of like preventative maintenance.
Dinovite for life.
It makes them healthier and happier.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
And your dogs will love it just like mine do.
DINOVITE.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. Jump on into those. And you can talk to us on the air, but there's also just sort of regular chat rooms where you can chat with other Free Talk Live listeners, even voice chat lines just for listeners to talk to each other. And they do that from time to time. It's a pretty cool service, and it's free over at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Also want to make sure you know about Divvy. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat currency like the dollar right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches, because of their relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at DivvyProject.org, DIVIproject.org. As we continue with more of your calls and thoughts, Ryan is on the line in Virginia, listening to WNIS. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I just wanted to broaden the horizon here, and let's let life imitate art. Omni-consumer products. Does anybody know what that is?
I don't think so.
I only know because the board op wrote something in here, so I wouldn't have remembered. I don't want to spoil it, so go ahead.
OCP. RoboCop.
Oh, okay.
And what about it?
Let's let big corporate brother oversee all of this and do it for profit.
That's not any better.
You're being facetious, right? You don't actually believe that.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
But that's where we're headed.
You think so? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the government goons want to lose any of their power whatsoever. But what's being suggested on this show isn't big corporations working with government. It's the decentralization of power.
Yeah, we already have that. The state basically kind of sells people to corporations through the prison system.
Taser and
already.
Boston Robotics are what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, and also there's the prison industrial complex. There are prisons actually run by corporations, and they've got sweetheart contracts with governments that guarantee that they will have 90% fill rates at their corporate prisons, which of course encourages even more people to be arrested for things like drug possession and other nonviolent victimless crimes. So the marriage between government and corporations, which of course government are also corporations. So it's just corporations known as government, and then the corporations that they give protections to. That is not a good situation. That is not at all. Just to clarify what we're saying here tonight, we're talking about decentralizing power to where there's not a one-size-fits-all monopoly on violence, which is what the government currently has. That the idea of providing protection services should be a market function and open to competition, to where you could have local organizations providing protection services. Does that make sense?
Well, the division of local government from federal government is part of that process. And yet we want to have the federal government reach out and fix these problems.
Yeah, that's one of the difficulties here, right? So what you're pointing out is that Ian made the comment that it's monopolized, and it isn't really monopolized. It's cartelized, right? It's a hierarchical cartel where, sometimes in Florida, for instance, we call it the FDLE, which is basically the Florida state version of the FBI. So if Manatee County Sheriff's Department gets out of hand, the FDLE can come in and do something about it. If the FDLE gets out of hand, the FBI can come in and do something about it. But it's still this sort of top-down...
Who watches the watchers?
Right. Well, in fact, no one watches the FBI. That's why they still use notepads instead of recording devices. I mean, we've had audio cassette recorders for a long time, and they won't use them.
Any other comments, Ryan?
No, I just wanted to open up that part of the discussion.
I appreciate you doing that, man. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Pat. He's in Michigan. Pat, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello? Pat in Michigan. Going once. Pat in Michigan. Going twice. Let's try Tom. He's in New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
All 57 members of the Buffalo Police Department's emergency response team have resigned from their posts in the special unit. The mass resignation is meant as a show of support for fellow officers who were suspended without pay Thursday night after video of them shoving 75-year-old protester Martin Gugino went viral.
Hold on. Let me see if I'm understanding what you're saying here. So these are the cops that shoved the old man. I happen to see video of this. I don't know if the two of you spotted this. You're saying that the department members, dozens of them, resigned because the two guys are getting in trouble?
Yes.
Now, what this tells me is if they can't beat people up, then they don't want the job. If they're going to have to start behaving themselves, forget it. They didn't sign up so they could behave themselves.
Wow. And how many of the officers was it? You say 50?
All 57 members of the Buffalo Police Department, listen carefully, emergency response team have resigned from their posts in the special unit. So this is probably code for they're just going to be, they're still going to be cops, but not members of that department anymore somehow.
Okay.
That's what that means.
But if they can't beat people up, if they're going to have to start behaving themselves, then hey, they could just
well, they can still beat people up in the rest of the department. That's, I'm sure, what they're looking forward to.
I'd like to push back on this a little bit. I watched the video. Were you shocked by the egregious shoving of these police officers of this older man?
Yeah, it was totally unacceptable.
It looked I don't know what's acceptable and what's not. But
you think it's okay to knock an old guy over who's on a cane?
You don't know what's policy and what's not. I feel like you know what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah, the old guy they knocked over that I saw. Maybe I'm thinking of a different video where some old man got knocked over, but I saw a video. Maybe it wasn't Buffalo. Two officers literally pushing an old man with a cane, knocking him to the ground.
Whatever video I saw, I didn't see a cane. What I saw was a guy who looked like he was on one of those European soccer teams where they're always taking a dive.
What I'm going to tell you is my campaign position is I'm running on a platform which includes the copper rule, which is, okay, whatever is the maximum that a human being could get for doing that to a cop. That's the minimum that the cops have to get for doing that to a human being. Okay, that's and they were protesting that the cops even got suspended. No. They got to get the maximum that a human could get for beating up a cop that badly. That's my campaign position.
Which would probably be an attempted murder charge.
Okay, this is a different video. But yeah, okay, different video. The one I saw was two cops knocking over an old man with a cane. I just saw the one you're talking about, Mark. This is the Buffalo one, so the one I saw was not.
Okay.
Well,
Buffalo.
apparently there was multiple instances of cops knocking over and beating up.
And this
old
is still
people
not
today.
okay. What they did. Are you actually defending what they did to this old guy?
Well, what their claim is.
Whose claim?
The police.
Okay.
Their claim is this guy's a rabble rouser.
Maybe so.
And is it possible that a 70-year-old could choose to, I don't know, embellish upon the shoving there was a push. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start walking up to police who are attempting to advance, you may very well get a push. And then it looked like he just took it down, and then he's like, maybe he was really hurt. Maybe he's just like one of these soccer players that just hit the dirt. And obviously he's
there was no
getting
dirt here. This was concrete, and there's blood pouring out of his head. I mean, the fact that you could defend the police coming in, a throng, by the way, of police. We're not just talking about
I'm
two
not defending
officers.
it.
I would just like to describe this. I had not seen this video yet. There's literally dozens of officers here, and there's one old guy. Now, maybe there were a bunch of protesters here a moment ago. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what happened before this video happened. But right now, this old man's the only person in the vicinity of literally dozens of officers. 3 of these officers come up to him, and 1 or 2 of them push this man, and he hits the ground.
They were part of an advancing force.
And are you going to try to claim, thank you, Tom, for the call tonight, are you going to try to claim that was the appropriate thing to do, is push this man? If you wanted him out of there, they could have simply apprehended him and removed him from the scene.
They don't have time for that. They're advancing.
Oh, so just push him down. Unbelievable that you would make this make excuses for these cops. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Bags under the eyes, crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles are things adults complain about as they age. Now there's Instantly Ageless. It works in minutes and is great for men and women.
I've probably noticed in the past 5 years that my eyes have gained a lot of fine lines, wrinkles, my crow's feet have gotten deeper. Wow. I was hoping for 5 years, but that's like what my eyes looked like 10 years ago. That is really cool. Wrinkle gone.
It's easy. You just put it on your finger and go. Now I wish I had more down here because I can still see one wrinkle. It's bugging me.
I am a little bit emotional. Turning 40, I didn't think would be a big deal to me, but that looks like the me that I feel like inside instead of what I see when I look in the mirror.
Try Instantly Ageless today at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com. 30-day money-back guarantee and preferred price discount at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, veterinarian and naturopathic physician. The Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy with an important message. Take charge of your health. Do not continue to blindly follow the system that has failed us all. I appreciate GCN listeners because you're open-minded and intelligent. If our system is so great, why is it that the United States, the USA, ranks nearly 60th worldwide in longevity and number 1 in obesity? All the while we spend more money than all the other countries combined annually on unnecessary healthcare procedures and toxic drugs. It doesn't take much to get on track. Not with the government or pharmaceutical companies, but rather you in control of your own health with a basic understanding of nutrition and supplementation. FDI Longevity has the finest quality health, sports, and energy supplements available. GCN listeners are invited to join our team of people who want to stay healthy well into old age. We are currently looking for specialists to represent FDI Longevity and Save America. To buy products at wholesale prices or join our business team, go to GCNteam.com. That's GCNteam.com. Support GCN. Get healthy.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You are invited to bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. Head over to discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of those, and there's actually some people waiting in there. We're going to get to you in just a moment. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
I want to tell you about the AnyPay Cash Register app. I was, yet again, the privileged user of AnyPay this afternoon when I bought hamburger and fries out here in downtown Keene at Local Burger. We have our local libertarian meetup that we do Sundays, and AnyPay is in use at that particular restaurant. It's in use at actually several places in this area because it's super easy to use. All you got to do is download the AnyPay Cash Register app for iOS or Android devices, add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses to the back end, and you're ready to accept cryptocurrency. I mean, we're talking about moments in time that it will take you to set this thing up, especially if you already have a crypto wallet. If you don't already have your own crypto wallet, well, you got to get one of those first, and so that might take you an extra few moments. But really, this is the fastest payment system setup you've ever done in your business. I will tell you, there's nothing that goes this fast. Credit card, oh yeah, you got to wait days, if not weeks, for an approval, and you got to apply and jump through ridiculous hoops. AnyPay makes it so easy, and you'll be accepting Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Bitcoin SV, and Bitcoin. It's your choice which ones you want to accept there over at AnyPay. It's AnyPay Cash Register. Look for that in the Google or Apple app stores. As we continue here, I'm going to get back to your calls, but I just got to keep going with you on Mark on this, because I'm shocked that at this point, with having seen the police abuse that you've seen in the years that you've been on the air here on this show, for you to just start making a defense of the police, knocking over a 77-year-old man who
now
was...
he's 77? I thought he was 75.
Whatever.
Or was he 70?
He's old. He's older than you.
Maybe he's 30.
Maybe he's 30.
It's an old dude standing on a sidewalk.
He's 50% older than you, and
he's not just standing on a sidewalk. He's addressing a group of riot police.
That is his right to do. He is free, supposedly, to speak to a bunch of riot police from a public sidewalk. So what do? They push him over, and you're claiming that somehow this was okay. The words you used, I believe, in the last segment were that the police don't have enough time to deal with him, so they just had to knock him over.
They were advancing. And, like when you're finding an advancing force and trying to get out in front of it, you can expect some problems. They also claim that he's a rabble-rouser, that
I
they
don't
sort of
care
know
what they
who he is.
say
I
about
understand that you don't.
Just because they know who the guy is
claimed
doesn't
that
mean
he
it's
took
okay
a
to knock
dive.
him over.
Fine, you can just talk over me. It doesn't make a difference.
I wasn't talking over you. You and I were talking at the same time. So, look, here's what happened. This old guy was standing what looks like by City Hall or some sort of front steps of some building. The cops are advancing, as you said, and just because they know who the guy is and because they're advancing doesn't mean that there aren't more humane ways to get a guy out of a place where you don't want the guy to be. And just to prove that you don't know what you're talking about. Moments later, like in the same minute and a half long video that shows the police knocking this guy over, which, by the way, was taken by a news team. It wasn't this old man's buddies who were there setting this up. They're trying to set the police up for something. Ridiculous paranoia on your part. But
I didn't say
within
that.
the same, that's what you suggested in
What?
the last segment. Then, so just a moment after they knock this old man over with a shove, there's then a young guy who's much better built than this guy's wiry, he's tall, he's thin, the old man. The young guy, he looks, pretty thick by comparison. 4 cops surround the young guy and walk him away.
Well, yeah, because he can do something about it, whereas this guy they knew wasn't going to put up a fight.
I don't
'Cause he
think.
can't.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to take the old guy into custody. I think they just wanted to get him out of the way.
You don't have to take him into custody. You can
You
pick him
can
up
walk
and move him
them
like
somewhere
they did
else,
with
like they just
20-year-olds.
did, right? Like they just did with this guy.
I'm sure if they had the opportunity to do it again, that they wouldn't do this.
Yeah, because it got caught on video and it looks really bad. Because it is really bad, and the fact that you would sit here and
I don't
make
know if that's
excuses
true.
for them is pathetic.
And I mean, there's also the option of not attacking people at all in the more violent or in the less violent means.
Sure,
Yeah,
you could
this
just
man was not a
leave the
threat.
streets to the protesters and watch them set things on fire. That worked so well in
Well,
Minneapolis.
this man was not a threat. He was not setting things on fire.
I wouldn't
And-
claim that he was.
Yeah. So we will move on here because, that's been disproven.
What's been
we go-
disproven?
Your claims about this is ridiculous.
My
Claim they
claim
didn't
was he
have
took a
time.
dive.
Yeah, and you claim they didn't have time to do anything else but knock him over, which is ridiculous and false. So stop it. We got more coming up here. Your calls and thoughts. We're going to Scott. He's in Florida. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Scott.
Good evening, Ian, Melanie, and Mark. I hope you're all right.
What's on your mind?
This is what I'd like to say. First of all, regarding the police, they're disgusting. I have no respect for the cops, and I don't use the word police officer. I use the cop because they don't deserve to be called anything better than that. I had no respect for them before all of these riots, but this only reinforces my, I'll be very frank, my total detestment, how I revile them. I fear them, but I have no respect for them. And there's a big difference. They are, make no mistake about it, they are the modern, I guess you could say, Gestapo, stormtroopers. The only difference is they don't wear the brown shirts and the swastikas, but they still beat up people, they intimidate people, they threaten people's rights, and they're just horrible. But I got good news for you. Before this year is out, I'm going to make a prediction. America will be out. And what I mean by that is the whole rotten structure will collapse.
Hold on. Are
And
you
how can I
saying
make
that the federal government will be dismembered somehow?
Yes. In other words, it will collapse on its own weight. The economy.
That's optimistic. I mean, why? Why this
I
time?
believe
Why
that.
now?
I'll tell you why. Because the government, especially the Federal Reserve, is printing up trillions and trillions. It's unbelievable. When the currency becomes devalued, and it will become devalued, not maybe, absolutely, positively, we will go down the road of Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Weimar Germany after World War I. American savings will be wiped out. There is no middle class. There's no manufacturing. Unemployment benefits are going to run out. Stimulus will run out. You think these riots are bad? Wait till 100 million angry, disenfranchised, embittered Americans go out. There won't be enough cops and National Guards to put it on. Then this whole rotten Zionist-occupied government will come crashing down, and it will collapse upon its own weight. It's not a matter of if.
I
it's only
can't
a
wait.
matter of when.
I hope you're right. I hope the United States is done by the end of this year, and we can replace it with nothing.
Yeah, well, when things collapse like this, it doesn't go well, Ian.
No, it generally doesn't. Probably be a military coup or something like that. It may
Anything
not,
could be better
may
than
not
this.
end up being better.
No.
Well, no, there's plenty of things that are worse
It
than
could be
this.
worse.
This is just really, really bad. People,
It's
as a
still-
species, just have really a wide spectrum of horribleness to offer.
It's still better than most things that are going on the planet. And that's something to keep in mind, is that, yes, I would like something different, but I would like that different to be better.
Thanks, Scott, for your call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We continue with Joe in Pennsylvania, listening to WJET. Hello, Joe. Oh, you got to turn down that radio, or you will have a very confusing time with us. Yeah, he's listening to the radio.
Hello?
Joe, you got to turn that down, man.
Okay,
You gotta
I
turn
turned it down.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in about 100 miles from Buffalo.
Yep.
And I was watching that video of the elderly man being pushed.
Yep.
As the police advanced, one of the officers was going to stop and help that fella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he pushed him out of the way.
Another officer behind him pushed him along and wouldn't let him
that's
help
sick.
him.
But
This dude was bleeding out the back of his head like a pool of blood, literally.
One of them stood by him, and it appeared as though he was talking into his radio. One would presume he's calling an ambulance or something, somebody more qualified to take care of
It
the
looked like
guy.
he wanted to stop and help him.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if he called an ambulance, he did stop and help.
Okay. One other thing, can I change the subject a minute?
Yeah, of course, please.
We do on Free Talk Live.
Okay. I'm in PA, and we've got a lefty here for a governor, Wolf. And Pennsylvania's always been Republican. I'm a Democrat.
Okay.
And for the last presidential, they finally went Republican. And our county here, Erie County, is still in the yellow. Everybody else is in the green, except for the Philadelphia area.
What's the yellow and green?
And I think what he's doing, he's holding this against us in Erie County and not letting us get into the green.
Hold on.
Joe.
Joe.
Everybody's closed. They won't let us open up.
Joe, what are you referring to, yellow and green? Is this some sort of COVID code?
Yeah, this is some sort of code that we've got in PA. Started out red. Everything was shut down. Then it went yellow, where you were allowed to open certain things.
Yep,
and then the green is when everything's open.
And you think it's
everybody's
political?
in the green except Erie County up in the corner.
And you think that's a political move?
I think it's a political move because back in the last election, we went Republican.
It wouldn't surprise me if you were right about that, Joe. Thank you for the call tonight, because there is a lot of politics going on around this COVID thing, and it's disgusting. More coming up here. Hour 3 is next.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,740, silver at $18.77, and Bitcoin is trading at $10,060. Today's gold silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, the Kentucky National Guard fired live ammunition at a crowd while enforcing the recently imposed curfew in the very early hours of Monday morning, leaving at least one person dead. The Mind Unleashed reports the incident took place just after midnight, according to Louisville Metro Police Chief Steve Conrad, who said that the city's police were sent to a parking lot to break up a crowd along with the National Guard. The police and the National Guard claim they were shot at during the altercation, but they have given no proof to support those claims. Meanwhile, amid racial unrest across the nation, President Trump on Monday declared himself the president of law and order and threatened to deploy the United States military to American cities to quell a rise of violent protests. Earlier, he spoke to governors on a video teleconference with law enforcement and national security officials, telling the state leaders they have to get much tougher, criticizing their responses. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. George Floyd, who died after being choked by Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin last Monday, succumbed to asphyxiation as a result of Chauvin's actions. That's according to an independent autopsy ordered by his family. The Free Thought Project reports the findings of the autopsy, carried out by medical examiners Dr. Michael Baden and Dr. Alicia Wilson, differ from those of the Hennepin County, Minnesota medical examiner, who examined Floyd's body before Chauvin was charged with murder on Friday. Floyd's apparent murder shocked the nation, with a video showing the last agonizing 8 minutes of his life, triggering protests and riots across the U.S. Nearly a week later, the protests have escalated into full-blown anarchy, looting, and arson. People in a number of international cities violated bans on large gatherings over the weekend to show solidarity with protests against police brutality that have exploded in at least 140 cities across the United States. The Free Thought Project reports political leaders overseas condemn the killing of George Floyd, who died after now former Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin pressed his knee into Floyd's neck for over 8 minutes, while the man was unarmed and handcuffed, and his onlookers pleaded with Chauvin to stop. An estimated 1,500 people in Berlin marched Sunday, a day after more than 2,000 people gathered outside the U.S. Embassy, where they chanted Black Lives Matter and held pictures of Floyd. In England, officials Friday denounced the arrest of CNN correspondent Omar Jimenez and his camera crew as they reported on the protests in Minneapolis. Michelle Bachelet, the High Commissioner for Human Rights at the United Nations, called on the United States to take serious action to end police killings of civilians, which happened nearly 1,100 times in 2019. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Officials at PepsiCo announced today the upcoming launch of Mountain Dew Cineblast after the company's market research team unknowingly fell victim to a malicious focus group that convinced them cinnamon-flavored Mountain Dew was the next big thing.
The people in the focus group, they couldn't get enough of it. And then they said, the more cinnamon, the better. So we are going to put in more cinnamon. We are really excited for people to try this product.
According to PepsiCo's data, all gathered from a single group of ill-intentioned respondents, customers of all ages will love the new soft drink's murky brownish-green color and will soon be lining up to try the carbonated beverage jam-packed with ground cinnamon. Various members of the focus group told reporters they believed the company had made a great decision.
Cinnablast is the best. I mean, I can't wait to tell all of my friends to go buy this thing.
Yeah. The only way they can make it better is if they took a couple of raw eggs, mixed them up in the bottle. People would go nuts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the live Sunday edition. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Then, if we get the chance, the Michigan barber went to the Supreme Court in Michigan, and we will tell you what happened there in regards to his civil disobedience against the governor's orders there in Michigan. Plus, Minneapolis police may be disbanded, according to some city council members, and we will tell you a little bit more about that. Melanie's got that story. As we continue, though, with your calls and thoughts, we go over to our Discord call-in lines. And by the way, you can join us on Discord by calling in. Here's how you do it. You join the Discord server. Best that you download the app first. So you grab the app at Google or Apple App Store, install that, then go to discord.lrn.fm. Just type that into your browser. When you press enter on that, it will automatically pop you right into the app and into our server. Then you join the on-air call-in lines if you want to talk on the radio with us, like Jumping Spider does. Jumping Spider is calling us from New Jersey, and you are on our Discord lines. Go ahead, Jumping Spider.
Hey, Ian, how's it going?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I'm glad Mark here is coming around on this one. I just came here to say that you can't believe everything you see. Things are not always as they seem. I want you to watch it again, and I want you to pay close attention to what the man is doing with his cell phone. He's actually scanning the radio around the cop's belt, possibly skimming or cloning the device to later interfere with communications.
I'm okay with that, though.
You're talking about just to be clear, you're talking about the video of the Buffalo protester who is knocked over by the police.
Yeah, he was breaking the rules of stupid. He was in a stupid place at a stupid time doing something stupid.
What makes you believe that he was trying to scan the police with his cell phone?
Look at the video. Just look at what he's doing with his hand. He's reaching out,
gesturing.
He has a cell phone in his hand.
Oh yeah, he does.
And he's skimming.
Almost everyone has a cell phone in their hand.
It looks like he's scanning.
Yeah, but he's not sitting there recording. He's not standing there like filming.
That's not a place where you would record. There's no reason to record like the belts.
And you believe that he's doing what exactly with that phone? Skimming what?
Skimming or cloning the device to later on interfere with their communications.
Can you do that just by scanning with the phone though?
I don't think so. How does that work? Yeah, because it doesn't work like that. What's the app that you use for that?
You can black out or jam the communications. I don't know the app.
Okay.
I'm not a hacker.
Okay. Well, then how do you know that that's true?
I mean, you've never heard of skimming? Like skimming credit cards? Skimming, you can have
you have to have a reader in order to skim a credit card.
And like a cell phone is not a radio reader, so...
A cell phone is a radio, but it's not going to give you...
You have an NFC on your phone, right?
Some people do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a scanner.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, that's an interesting theory, but there's not actually anything backing up what you're saying.
Okay, so another thing here is he falls to the ground, right? And then blood starts streaming out of his ear. It's not from the back of his head, it's from his ear. You can clearly see it if you zoom in.
So this is like
full screen.
This is like a conspiracy, about this guy that
I'm just saying it's possible that he took a dive, like Mark is saying. I'm skeptical that he didn't actually take a fall. All I can find on him is that he had a possible concussion. There's no blood streaming out of the ears.
The same thing, and there's nothing. They don't talk about this guy after this. Like it's not. We don't find out what happens to him from a medical standpoint afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like you'd think that a 75-year-old, if that's his age, who goes and falls down and bashes his head on the sidewalk, you'd get some kind of update. But all it is like copper's bad.
Well, it's an interesting theory. I don't believe it for a moment. Thank you, Jumping Spider. I appreciate it. In fact, Baracco66 says you don't skim with a phone. Here in the studio, I've never heard of phones having the ability to do what he's describing.
It could be a skimmer disguised as a phone.
And I don't care if he was. So interfering with police communications is a completely valid activity.
Absolutely.
If he was successful, we'd talk about him like he was a hero.
And even so, if that's what he was doing, which I don't believe that's even a possibility, and if it is a possibility, I'm wrong, I would love to know what tool to use because I would like to download it to my phone. So somebody who actually thinks this is true and has some real evidence should let us know about that. But anyway, so in this link that somebody just put in the Discord chat in the on-air now, actually it was Jumping Spider who put this link in there. So he's linking to theconservativetreehouse.com. It is obviously some sort of a conservative blog. Buffalo officials duped by professional Antifa provocateur. Arrest and charge 2 police officers. Righteous police teams stand together and walk out. So this is a total pro-cop blog that he is referencing here in this story. Look, even if what he is doing is what this caller claimed, that he was trying to somehow scan the officer, that still does not call for him to be knocked down. And I don't believe that he had a secret blood pack inside of his ear canal that he was then, set
I didn't
off.
see it coming out of his ear. It looked like it came from the back of his head. It would be easier to put a blood pack in the back of your head, by the way, because your ear canal isn't very big.
Yeah, I mean that this whole claim that this was all some sort of plotted thing, that this was his intention to do, pretty ridiculous.
So what is the goal here? Make the police bad by showing people that they do what they do. You're not changing their behavior. What we're presented with is still how the police reacted to this situation.
Would we say that this is ill-advised on the side of the police to have done this? Like maybe...
Yeah, don't knock down somebody unless you're in a fight with that person.
I don't think they intended to knock him down.
They pushed him.
What
do you think happens when you push somebody? If they lose their balance, they go down.
When you say the term push... who knows what you're saying when you say it? The shove wasn't very hard.
It's when you put.
I'm looking at a hard push for that guy's age.
When you
for his
transition
age, I'd say that.
Force from your body into another person's body, especially if they're old, maybe not so with it as far as their balance is concerned. Maybe they're caught by surprise. Maybe they didn't think that they were going to get pushed by a throng of cops. Maybe they thought the cops would do what they did to the next guy, which was just simply grab him and walk him over to where they wanted him to be.
Yeah, I think that was a better way to deal with it, and they probably learned from their behavior.
I doubt that they learned.
This
is where you just keep giving them
shouldn't they learn first? Shouldn't you train them and then put them out on the street, not the other way around?
How often are they going to deal with a riot situation in Buffalo, New York?
This wasn't a riot where what was happening right there. Maybe there was a riot there an hour beforehand or 10 minutes beforehand. But in this case, it was a lone old man surrounded by, I'm telling you, 24 armored police officers. The fact that you could even have the words come out of your mouth, maybe they learned their lesson this time. Give me a break.
They didn't do it to the next guy.
Well, the next guy had the ability to fight back, and I think that they accurately assessed that the first guy did not. That's how cops operate.
Let's continue here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. I think we might have Pat in. I don't know. We're going to give Pat one more shot. Pat, are you there? Going once. Going twice. All right, well, we tried. So let's see. We've got other related news. And by the way, I did send both this video so you can see it for yourself. This video of the old man being shoved to the ground, 75 years old, and the video of a different old guy being shoved to the ground.
Yeah, that one was much more egregious.
Salt Lake City. That one was worse because he wasn't even facing the police.
No, they were trying to get him moving along, and he could only move so fast. He had a cane, and they shoved him from behind, and he fell.
Oh, but Mark, didn't he? What if he was just faking it with the cane? It was all an act, pre-planned.
It didn't look like he was faking it.
There's also a third old guy that they pushed down.
What I thought when I saw that guy fall. Okay. It looked like a soccer guy taking a fall.
What was the third?
There was a third guy because the old guy tried to return a police helmet to the police, and so instead of taking the helmet, they
knocked him down,
attacked him.
Wow.
Which, that guy was kind of in cahoots with the police, so whatever. But these first two guys, they were just walking across sidewalks, standing on sidewalks.
Yeah, so I don't know if anything's happened to the the cops that shoved the old man in Salt Lake City. I have not seen any further updates about that particular
I'm more
story.
interested in what's happening to the press out there. Like, if you array yourself against an armed, superior trained force, it's likely you're going to lose. And there'll probably be some casualties. I'm more interested in what's happening to the press because it's protected by the First Amendment of the United States.
Well, they've arrested something like 100, or not arrested,
So is
but
protesting.
Peaceful protesting is. Peaceful assembly is, actually.
The press has been targeted in a major way over the last week across the U.S. There's news about that as well. You can bring up what you want. Take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
We call him Willy Wonka. He's a chocolate lab. His belly itched, and he would actually lay in the grass and scoot across it to scratch it. DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition. His belly, it's all really cleaned up. He flops over and lays on his back and just kicks his legs. I call it his happy dance.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms, and you can join them over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Do you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty? You can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. You can check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. Plus, they do custom work, so you got a political campaign or maybe a community group or a business that needs
or a radio program.
Yeah, that needs to create a bumper sticker. They can help you with that. libertystickers.com. We go back to your calls, your thoughts. First up, we have Bobby. He's on the line in Florida watching us on Twitch, twitch.lrn.fm. We live stream there. Go ahead, Bobby.
I was hoping that maybe these protests can help the people in Hong Kong, and they see us protesting, and some of our stuff is kind of minor compared to what they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. But I was wondering a back take on that. I wonder if there's regular citizens in Hong Kong and over there that are actually like more statist, and they're like, heck yeah, I'm glad the cops are, beating the crap out of them and need to get those protesters out of the street. Like we have over here.
I'm sure there are. Hong Kong's a big enough place that it probably has a wide array of types of people.
I mean, if there weren't people who supported the state, we'd have a heck of a lot easier of a job getting rid of the idea.
Well, I would like to say this. I was in Hong Kong in January, perhaps February. I can't remember exactly. And I did meet some blue supporters. So they've got yellow and blue there, and basically you pick your side. So it's the yellow.
What does it mean, the yellow versus the blue?
Why did they pick those colors?
What are the sides?
I know that yellow.
Like here, the red are the Republicans. Those are the right wingers.
But why are they?
Why are who?
Red. Why is Republican red and why is Democrat
I have
blue?
no idea.
Okay,
I'm just asking you what the colors represent.
Okay, I'm just making sure I know what you're asking me.
Yeah.
Blue means pro-China.
Okay.
And yellow means some form of freedom for Hong Kong.
Okay.
And it's nuanced. And they all have their own various versions and how they want to see it go. And there's certainly disagreements among the activists. They're not disagreeing that they should have more freedom. They're just disagreeing as to what that looks like. But I talked to, at the very least, one woman who was blue. And she was down in a portion of Hong Kong that's it's a fishing village and away from the city. And she said that basically she was proud of the Chinese and their success in growing the country and that sort of thing. And that was her reason.
Wow.
It was patriotism.
And the one guy had it backwards. Actually, the phone, you can use it as a Bluetooth skimmer that can actually detect if there's a skimmer on a gas station pump or an ATM. It's an app called Blutana. Right now, it's in use by the U.S. law enforcement, so we don't know when the consumer version will come out. But you can actually use it to scan the gas pumps or ATMs, and it'll give you a notice saying if it actually has a skimmer in it. So it's kind of backwards from what that guy was saying.
So, to your knowledge, Bobby, is there any sort of app that can do what that caller was saying, which is to say to get close to another phone and somehow be able to, borrow information from it to clone it?
No. What that has to do with is the RFID. That's why they have these RFID phone cases and like for your wallet. It's because like Walmart and Target and all these stores, they're wanting to do this to where you walk in and then it'll ping your phone. Oh, hey, look, we got this on sale for you, and you can get this, and they'll track what you're buying and this and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it would stop that.
There is information that your phone does give out, right? Like for instance, if you're running a Wi-Fi hotpoint, there's going to be an SSID there that is being given out. There's always the phone is constantly broadcasting its signal to its whereabouts to the tower. So I mean, there's data constantly coming from your phone, but the question is, what is it that another phone can just snag of that data? And I suspect that whatever it is very limited to anything that is
it just picks up
public.
RFID signals.
Yeah.
And so like stores can target advertising and stuff to you, and if you didn't want that, you could have your phone locked up. But yeah, he had it backwards. But in the future, you'll be able to use your phone and then put it up to the ATM or your gas station, and the Bluetooth based app on your phone will actually be able to tell you if a skimmer's in use.
Interesting. Thank you, Bobby, for the call tonight. Appreciate the heads up on the technology out there. Let's continue with Nick. He's in Virginia listening to WNIS. Go ahead, Nick. Hello? Nick in Virginia. I hear somebody there.
Did he give up?
Oh. Somebody's there. Hello?
Hello?
Is this Nick?
No, I didn't give up.
Okay.
Come
Here
on
you
now,
are.
I don't give up.
Okay, good. Now we have
No, I
you.
just had a couple comments.
Yes.
A couple comments and questions for you guys. Now, I think what's happened with the police and the things that have just happened recently are, I mean, obviously egregious and just shouldn't happen. But if you think about any job that you take, there are servers out there. Have you ever had a server who should not have been a waiter or a waitress?
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case.
And in so many lines of work, it's the same thing. It's like it's not for everybody. Now, you take a couple bad apples who do something like this, and it just blows it up for everybody else.
Well, but here's the problem,
No.
Nick. The whole
ahead.
saying is a couple bad apples spoil the whole bunch. But beyond that, what you have happening here is unlike a server situation or any other, piss poor experience you have in the marketplace. If feedback is given to management on a bad server, and it happens enough, that person's probably going to get fired. And it's not going to take too long for that
And if
to
they
happen.
shoot somebody on the job, they're going to get fired
Instantly.
immediately.
Yeah,
So why didn't,
right.
It's not going
we
to
could
take
go straight to why
17
didn't
times.
Klobuchar do anything about it then?
What's that?
Why didn't Amy Klobuchar do anything about it?
Who? Now, that's one of these politicians. Who is she again?
She was, she held office in Milwaukee, and apparently this officer was up like 18 times or
Because
something
she's
like that.
not
or had
subject to
18
market
complaints.
pressures. That's what the market does. And the reason why
Politicians
police are
don't
bad.
care.
And
Politicians.
Listen, and you're
Politicians
okay, and I
don't do.
understand that
Hold
point
that
here.
thought. I just want to expound on this just a moment. So politicians, they get elected. They're in for 4 years. It doesn't matter what they do. It only matters when they're trying to get reelected. And then, of course, most people have forgotten about what happened during the 4 years, and they can
Hopefully
lie.
everybody understands that.
Well, they understand that, but they keep electing politicians because that's all they have the choice to do is continue to elect more terrible, evil human
Right.
beings.
If you think we're here supporting Democrats, we're certainly not.
No. And if you think I'm here supporting Republicans, this is the same opposite.
But what I wanted to say about
you're supposed to be able to
police-
look at both sides, and they don't do it anymore.
Yeah, and both sides are on the same side when it comes to supporting the police. They all support the police for the most part. And if they don't, it's only for show, and then they'll continue to support the police. But in this case, you can complain and complain and complain about police violence and police misbehavior and irresponsibility. And for the most part, your complaints go in the circular file. And nothing is ever done to these officers because ultimately they are not a market-based organization and they don't care if they hurt peaceful people because they know they're going to be able to force you to pay taxes to support their organization year after year after year because complain as most people do, it doesn't matter if they complain as long as they're paying for this violence. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, mothers across the nation invented a new drug to worry about, confirming that the completely fictitious new substance was appearing in schoolyards across the nation and is easily created from simple household products like sugar, window cleaner, and petroleum jelly. Calling the totally made-up narcotic scramp, mothers in desperate need of something to fret over deluded themselves into constantly agonizing over the widespread drug epidemic that exists solely in their minds.
My son sits in his room for hours and hours. It must be scramp. He's a scramp head. I bet they'll figure out how to scramp with this too.
In other news, a man confidently strides through a beaded curtain without parting it. A father takes a picture of his daughter every day from birth until he abandons his family. And the same homeless man is always begging for change on the same United flight. Stalled contract negotiations have prevented me from reviewing any more news until I receive a co-producer credit. But for more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Back with more Free Talk Live. You are invited to take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Phones are almost completely loaded up. It has been a busy Sunday night here on The Air with us. And tonight it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Don't forget you can join us online anytime you want. Just head over to freetalklive.com. If you support what we do here on Free Talk Live, then please join the AMP program like Venkman has done. Now, you don't have to do it at the level that Venkman did it. We only ask for $5 a month. Venkman's doing $25. He's a platinum amplifier, as we call it, but you get all the perks no matter what level that you amp at. Basically, you can get access to special amp only chat room, for instance, or supporters only chat on our Discord forum and other bennies. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com, learn more about the AMP program, and then sign up with your credit card or with PayPal or with Bitcoin BTC. Just like Venkman did over at amp.freetalklive.com. We go back to Nick in Virginia. I want to make sure you had a chance to get some more of your thoughts out here, Nick, because you brought up the police and misbehavior, and you sort of compared it to somebody in the marketplace misbehaving, and there really is no comparison because the police are insulated from any significant punishment for their actions, unlike pretty much anybody in the open market.
And I can agree with that. I'm glad you kept me on. I've actually been on the other side, where I was to where the police were called because of me. And you know what? Whenever I didn't listen or whatever, it's like they had to restrain me. And it's like, that was my fault, like now looking back at it. But if you think about it this way, does anybody ever call the police because something good's happening?
No, they get into lots of difficult positions.
That's true of a lot of jobs, though. That's true of firefighters and maintenance.
Yeah, but you're saying firefighters and maintenance. Think about every time someone calls the police, it's a bad situation. Like every time they show up somewhere, it's not a good situation. They have seconds, just mere seconds, to discern what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
try and get the situation under control. And sometimes people make bad split decisions.
No doubt.
You know, I
No
mean,
doubt.
there's.
That's why you're
it's
supposed to
hard-
have training.
it's
The
hard, 'cause
military
I know
has this
so
issue
many,
too.
I know,
and they don't
yeah,
have this problem.
and the military's made wrong decisions
But
as well.
they don't have, not
Well, you
to
don't
this
hear as
degree.
much about it,
You
Melanie.
know, a lot
because
of the
if
police are military, ex-military.
Yeah, I don't
know
agree
that,
with
right?
Melanie on this. If the military goes after their own people, most of the time you're not going to hear about it. Whatever's going on in that military base ain't going to make it out to the public airwaves for the most part. If they prosecute somebody,
Do you know how many times the police have come out though to situations and have calmed everything down and left peacefully? That it's like that never gets talked.
well, yeah, of course, that sort of thing is not going to be.
All you do is hear about the bad.
You're
You
right
hear the
about
bad,
that.
you
You're
hear
right
the
about
bad.
that. There's no doubt. But the problem is, I can't choose. Okay, so
I understand.
The police.
And I totally agree with
Yeah.
the fact that what they've recently been put in the limelight has been just absolutely.
I'm not even talking about
appalling.
recently. It's been my entire lifetime that the police have abused peaceful people because it's part of their job.
And they don't only respond to calls. If they only responded
not
to
their-
calls,
it's not
we'd be
their
having an
job.
entirely different conversation.
Listen, it's not their job to use peaceful people.
It is absolutely their job
that's
to
a
abuse
mistake.
peaceful people. For instance, there are plenty of laws that the politicians have passed that the police are the enforcers of that target exclusively peaceful people for exclusively peaceful market actions like the sales of drugs. For instance,
Collecting rainwater.
That's one of them, and there's a variety of other things, such as, for instance, just about, a large number of driving-related issues.
Growing vegetables.
Okay, now between me and you, usually whenever you associate drugs with something, there's guns involved as well.
No, not in most of the drug
But
deals
why
I've been
is that,
involved
though?
in.
So that's not true of
No,
liquor.
that's
So
where,
why is
that's
it
why
true of
they made
illegal
pot
drugs?
legal. That's why they made pot legal, just because it's like, you know what? Now there ain't. You could go to the store and buy it. There ain't no guns
Yeah,
involved.
so if
or
they would
whatever.
just
Now it's
not
like,
enforce the gun laws, or not enforce the drug laws, and not have them in the first place,
Then
either
it would
one
all
of those,
you'd just all be in
then
CVS.
it
You
would-
could just go grab them.
It's almost as if the drug war is the problem and not the drugs.
We already have
have a
people
bunch of
running
people-
around on crazy drugs, Nick.
I know, and that's whenever the police get
If they
called.
got it from
'Cause whenever
CVS,
someone's
they'd
trying
know
to
what they
break
were
in and steal
on.
your shit.
No, you can't say the S word on the radio. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to dump that one. I really didn't want to, but it was a good conversation. Look, no, the reason why drug users are stealing things—that's what he said at the very end. Steal your S. The reason why drug users, some of them, not all of them, go around stealing things is because they have a habit that they can't afford. Okay, so it's too much to just go work at a McDonald's or something. They've got a big habit that is expensive because the drugs are expensive because they're on the black market. They would be cheaper if they weren't on the black market. But they are on the black market because the government prohibited them. So people who are desperate for those drugs will go and commit crimes like breaking into cars, breaking into homes, holding somebody up at knife point. These are things that happen because of the war on drugs. If we had no war on drugs, these crimes would not be occurring.
And
the
if
police
that
would
was
not
the
need to be
actual
called.
problem with the public and with the politicians, if that was the actual problem they had, they could criminalize breaking into cars and stealing, which guess what
They
is
already
already
did.
illegal,
Yeah.
and nobody would complain about that. So if that is what you're actually opposed to, then okay, fine, then have laws against stealing and breaking into cars.
Right. It's abundantly simple. Most of the people who are in prison and have to deal with the police having to do with drugs are there because they bought it, they've sold it, they possessed it, or something like that. We're all scared. None of us like the idea of somebody doing angel dust and picking up cars and swatting random people in McDonald's parking lots. Nobody wants that. But it's already illegal to pick up a car and swat people with it. You don't need to outlaw the angel dust in order to outlaw the behavior that happens so rarely. Now, I'm going to say it's a bad idea and that if you do to angel dust, then hey, maybe this is the result. But we can look at marijuana and we can look at alcohol and we can say, we can really say this, ladies and gentlemen, like this isn't even close to a guess. This is the truth. The problem with marijuana and alcohol when they were illegal was the war on marijuana and alcohol.
Yes.
Not marijuana and alcohol.
And
that's got to be true, presumably, for heroin and angel dust and all these things. I'm not going to do these things when and if they become legal.
Most people would not. No.
It's because it's a bad idea.
But right now, you can chug a gallon of gasoline and nobody's going to do anything about it, even though, from a health standpoint, this is probably very bad for you.
Huffing also bad, kids. Don't do that.
Yeah, nothing to do with gasoline besides putting it in your car is good for you.
And it's a lot easier to have a societal disapproval of an action if you can isolate the action. If drugs were legal, people would look at all the results and be able to definitively say, every bad result that happened was because of the person and the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that right now because you also have the third unrelated factor of the states coming in and inserting violence where there was none. So it's more difficult because somebody can say, well, look at your life. You're ruining your life because of cocaine. And they can come back with, well, no, it was because of the cops.
The police ruined it worse.
At least to some extent, they're right.
Yep.
So quit doing that, and then you'll be able to judge them on their own actions.
By the way, we can look at Portugal and we can say that people doing you can see what's happening with a decriminalized
huge success.
Area.
Huge success. Tim in Virginia.
Hey y'all.
Hey,
I'm here.
Welcome.
Yeah.
You're on the air.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, when I call you guys, I want to talk about one thing, and then by the time I get on, it's like moved along. There's so many other things. But I do want to correct something from earlier. Amy Klobuchar was a county prosecutor in Hennepin County.
Ugh, that's awful.
And Joe Biden his campaign has dropped her off the list of potential running mates after this happened. That tells me that there may have been one of the 18 different complaints about this officer that maybe wasn't prosecuted because of whatever. And that's why, I mean, there was no explanation why she was dropped from the potential list of president running mates. So,
it's probably politics, whatever it was.
But
I don't think that the Biden campaign has suddenly decided they have a moral objection against cops. I think they've suddenly decided that it was politically inexpedient to associate with pro-cop.
Yeah, a county prosecutor.
That hardcore pro-cop people.
The county prosecutor's job is not to prosecute police. They prosecute for the police. They do they help the police with their dirty work. Tim, thanks for your call tonight. I definitely appreciate it. We got more on the way. Your calls and thoughts, if we can fit them in, we'll do our best. I don't think we even got to one nugget of show prep here tonight.
I don't remember getting to show prep.
Wall to wall. We didn't even talk about the Michigan barber, and there's really good news in his case. There's more coming up here. It is Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll-free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
So you're wearing a mask every day now?
Yeah.
Where are you getting them?
Same website where I get my neck and body wraps, sunnybay.com.
Really?
And they're handmade, just like their wraps, in the USA.
Oh, and good quality?
Oh, very good. These are disposable face masks. And they make cloth face masks, too.
Good price?
That's the best part. 10 masks for only $6.
Wow.
As a public service, sunnybay.com is now making cloth face masks by hand in the Seattle area and sourcing disposable face masks with level 1 protection at sunnybay.com. Get a 10-pack of high-quality disposable face masks for only $6 or choose a handmade, washable, reusable cloth face mask with high 2 layers of quality cotton fabrics. Supplies are limited. Get details and order at sunnybay.com, a Biomed DB design company. Go to sunny-bay.com for disposable or cloth face masks. Just click sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com.
We've all seen and perhaps use the alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Have you noticed how it dries your skin, and as soon as the alcohol evaporates, it's no longer effective? GCNteam.com has alcohol-free antibacterial soap and foam meeting or exceeding all requirements set forth by the United States Food and Drug Administration. Come to GCNteam.com, keyword antibacterial, or call 877-878-4203.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do You think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, or call us on Discord at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
We're going to get right back into your calls, your thoughts, back into the Discord server where Gene the Christian Anarchist is on the line on our AMP-only call-in line. Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, I called to spank Mark about the old man falling backwards.
Now, this was the old guy 75 years old in Buffalo, where at least one, maybe two cops reached out to push him and knocked him over backwards. And he hit his head on the ground and started bleeding into a pool of blood.
And he does seem to be an activist. I looked at his Twitter and stuff. At least he supports freeing Assange. I see that on his Twitter. But the point is, whoever the heck this guy is, he's 75 years old and he's over 6 feet tall.
Yep.
And
he towers over those cops.
Yeah, if you trip somebody that's 75 years old and 6 feet tall, by the time that head hits the concrete, that's going to do some serious damage. Now, yeah, maybe he was over there. It kind of looked to me like what he was doing with that phone was trying to take pictures of their name badges or something.
No, he was gesturing. He had a phone in his hand, and he was gesturing as he was speaking to the police. That's all.
He's way lower than where the name badge would be.
Yeah. And it really doesn't matter what he's doing with the phone. He obviously is not scanning radio frequencies.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous claim by that caller.
This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. You don't scan radio frequencies with a cell phone.
He might just be trying to get in the way.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I don't know.
But anyway,
he wasn't in the way of much. There's 2 dozen
they could have
cops
just
here.
walked around. But yeah.
He's not in anybody's way.
There's plenty.
Okay, the Goon Squad, and I don't like to call them cops. I like to call them Goon Squad. The Goon Squad could have just simply walked around him, just split a little hole in the middle, and walked past him and let somebody in the back deal with the guy. Say, "Hey, what do you want? What are you doing here? Move over here to the side," or whatever. They could have done that.
Presumably, if there was a protest that had been at this particular location just moments prior, and this was one of the stragglers, right? The police come in, they say, "You're ordered to leave. You must disperse. Anyone staying will be charged with disorderly conduct." Usually that's what they say to get a crowd to leave, because they know the arrests are coming. Then it would have been the police's job in this case to arrest this man.
But we deal with a lot of elderly patients, and you just don't take a 75-year-old and push them backwards and expect them to. They're not going to fake a fall. Mark. They're not going to hit the ground and do some fancy roll.
Can you believe Mark actually said that?
It looked to me like he faked the fall. That's what I said.
No, he's 75 years old. The guy can't fake nothing.
All right.
You're 75 and you hit the ground, you're going to break a hip, possibly.
If either of us had done that, that would have been either a high-level battery charge or attempted murder.
Yeah.
So we'd punch the old man. Yeah.
There were the bottom line is the cops need to learn how to deal with people without just simply laying hands on them all the time. It's part the waves. It's one old guy. There was no problem with them just going around him and letting somebody in the back of the group deal with them.
Yep.
Because they obviously don't need to have 30 guys surrounding a 75-year-old man.
Gene, thank you for your call tonight, as always. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. We go to Cruel Philosopher. I believe he's in New York City. Go ahead.
Yeah, so thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I just wanted to kind of make a point that when you're talking about laws, you should never start from, if we legalize, Coke, the effects of Coke would be bad, so Coke should be illegal. If you're pro-freedom, it should be, should I have the right to do something? And that's the only standard you should have to hit in order for something to be legal or illegal, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's all I had to say.
I think it's a great point. Is that the government has stepped over rights, many times, and that's why we're here where we are today.
Yeah, the question isn't is cocaine bad. The question is aggressing against people for doing cocaine bad, and yes, it is.
And arguably, it's worse in a lot of cases.
Oh, it's definitely. I don't think it's arguable. It's worse.
The punishment that the system brings upon drug users and drug dealers is way worse in so many cases than whatever drug problem.
Kidnapping and torturing people is definitely worse than drugs.
Well, I mean, I will say that there are some people who really have torn themselves up with drugs in a really bad way, and I won't go so far as to say 100% of the time an arrest and some time in jail is going to be worse than a severe drug addiction, but it certainly doesn't make things better for that person. Going to jail aggravates those circumstances. It makes their life worse. It makes them more depressed in a lot of cases and more likely to use drugs when they get out.
I don't do these drugs that we're talking about, and
I don't do those drugs, but I have done some.
Me neither, by the way.
Yeah.
The illegality of it drives up the pricing.
That's true.
The high price causes these drug users to want to rob my house and potentially harm my family.
You had your car broken into in Florida.
Yep.
Somebody sliced your canvas top on your convertible?
On my convertible, they cut the top. By the way, the door was unlocked because I always left the door unlocked. So if somebody wants to change, these drug-addled morons were so stupid they didn't even bother to try. Can you imagine how this person felt once they cut my top, reached in trying to get the lock, and realized, I didn't have to do that. It was unlocked.
I don't think he felt much of anything if he's breaking into other people's cars.
Well, the chances are good he's died in a pool of his own vomit.
And criminalization also drives up potency because you get the same amount of time usually by weight or volume, not by weight or volume of the active ingredients.
Any other comments, Cruel Philosopher?
Yeah, it's just that, whether it's drugs or prostitution, I just don't know how, we've been convinced that things should be legal or illegal by the effects of the crime, not crime, but the drug or the act. We have to get back to being pro-freedom and judging things just on should people have the right to do them, not on the effects that it may have.
You're absolutely right about that.
Philosopher, are you coming to the Porcupine Freedom Festival and the Fork Fest this June?
I do not believe so. I should be on vacation.
It is a vacation.
We'd love to have you.
Come on up. Hey, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah.
So 855-450-FREE. Adam is in Arkansas. Adam, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Thanks for taking my call. And I just wanted to touch on the subject where y'all are talking about letting this old man come through the police line. I'm prior military. I'm prior infantry myself, and I can tell you right now with the training that I've had, I wouldn't have let him come through my line either. For one, I don't know if he has a weapon. So if I let him through my line, regardless of how old he is, I'm not only endangering myself, but I'm endangering my battle buddy.
But this is military training for fighting enemy forces overseas, not for dealing with domestic policing, correct?
No, even domestic policing, you don't let anybody through your line because you don't know what they have. You're not conducting search right there on the spot. You're actually
But you're not supposed to be fighting a war either.
Well, I think the guy's right. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what that was.
I think the guy's right. So, yeah, that's fine. What they did to the second guy though is they saw, when we shove people, sometimes they fall over and bust their heads, or at least appear to, and then they grab the guy. The next guy, they just sort of grab him and drag him off.
Yeah,
and
just to be clear,
he goes to the paddy wagon.
It was Gene, the Christian anarchist, who had called in to say that they should have just walked around. But Gene did say let the people at the back of the line deal with him. I don't think that the police, need to be doing a lot of the things they're doing. But in this case, I agree with you, Adam. If they didn't want this guy there, they should have just dealt with him right then, took him to wherever it was they wanted him to be, and that would have been the end of the story. But now they had to shove him down and hurt the guy.
You're absolutely right. I'm not agreeing with what they did, but
Right.
I am agreeing with not allowing anybody through your line. And then y'all also talked about the laws a minute ago about collecting rainwater. There's very few states that actually have that law, and it's just the
way
natural
too many.
rainwater that actually falls.
But it's
Well,
an example
okay,
of a
name the
victimless
state.
crime that is on the books in the U.S.
Okay, but those states that have the rainwater laws, the rainwater isn't enough to condone for everyone to collect the rainwater without it adversely affecting the ecosystem. So how
It's going
can
to
you
drop
condone-
on your
okay, well,
lawn if
really-
it's raining onto your bucket anyway.
Yeah, what does it matter whether it falls into your lawn or into a bucket or a barrel or something like that?
Okay, so say it falls onto your lawn. Where does it go from there?
Into the earth.
Okay, yeah, but what collects it from the earth? The entire ecosystem relies on that small amount of water that those areas get. So yeah, it may fall on your
Isn't
lawn.
it Oregon
You're
State
not-
which gets a S ton of water in certain places where it's illegal?
in certain places, sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the rainwater that you may have collected and not returned to the ecosystem due to evaporation and other sources may not fall somewhere else.
But where's it go? I mean, doesn't it go into cows that then pee it out, or
Well, if it
something
goes
like-
into your bucket, then you drink it or use it in a shower eventually, and then it's going to go back into the earth. I
Well,
mean,
then it
this is all
goes
just
into your
ridiculous.
drainage, your leach field for your.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous. Water's, we got plenty of it. Okay?
Well,
if you don't,
not every
and
place
if you
does.
don't have plenty of it, then move somewhere else where there's plenty of it. We'll see you tomorrow. Online in the meantime, thanks, Adam, for the call. It's Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you.